Hello, welcome to Waste Your Pod Dogs Wisely. I am Tay. I am here with a friend of WYTW Podcast, Mr. Matt.
Hello, everyone.
How are things with you?
Everything's good. We're kind of just doing this impromptu session we have here today based off a little lunch we had today.
Yeah, so if you're new here or if you're old here, please make sure to follow, subscribe, and share if you'd like.
Both channels.
Both channels. So you can find PodDogs at
PodDogs Pack on YouTube, and I believe the same across Spotify and Instagram, probably the same as well.
Okay, nice. And then you can find us, and I'm sure you're listening to it through that, but you could find us at Waste Your Time Pod at Instagram, and we are exclusively on Spotify. I guess we should talk about the elephant in the room. So we're kind of both catfished and ghosted by Ryan.
I guess you could say that. Yeah. Ryan is the connecting piece between both of these podcasts, and Ryan is absent from us today.
So it's his fault.
I would blame Ryan. Actually, I'm going to kind of blame Ryan because PodDogs is supposed to record today. We record on Tuesday nights, and I hear from you, not even from Ryan, that he's not available today.
Am I a reliable intel, though?
I would take your word as bond if you tell me that.
But what if I'm saying some faux news that he told me so he could get out of my podcast, but he wants to go to your podcast?
Then we can really blame Ryan.
Yeah, that's
Then
shiesty shit right there.
that right up Ryan's alley.
Yeah. So even if this doesn't see the light of day, this voice message, the last 2 minutes, needs to go online somewhere.
Ryan will find out one way or the other.
This is like Watergate.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, if it was like that, that's blasphemy.
We're finding them out.
I'm gonna have to break up. This might be Waste Your Time Wisely with Tay real soon.
This is true. Or I'll fill in.
Yeah.
I'll sub in.
What I don't know if you want to talk about like the LA thing right now first, or
We can talk about whatever. We can talk about LA, the No King stuff. We can even do Trump. We can go into sports. We can do movies, traveling.
I mean, we'll talk about the important stuff.
The
then.
podcast in general we can talk about.
Yeah. I think we'll definitely get to podcast up and down because I feel like it's ongoing, right? I mean, obviously social stuff is ongoing too, but it's a lot of it out of our control. But since podcasts are definitely in our control and it's ongoing, so we could talk about the challenges of that. But let's talk about the important things first, which is the NBA draft. Mm-hmm. Who are the Mavericks going to draft, in your opinion?
Well, my opinion is based on strong resources or sources that it's going to be Cooper Flag. There's no reason it's not going to be Cooper Flag. There's no reason for Dallas to trade this pick. I listen to Brian Windhorst a lot. That's like kind of like I think whatever Brian Windhorst says is almost Bond.
I think he's dating Sydney Sweeney now.
I wish. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But if Wendy says it, and Wendy's saying that Dallas is taking Cooper number 1, and I don't see why they wouldn't, because that's a scary team if they take him, when they take him.
Does he fit?
Of course he fits. Of course he fits. I think that's the kind of question that LeBron was asked when he was kind of coming, like, does he fit? Can he change? Like, that guy played for the Olympic, like, trials team. Yeah. And like performed well against like Anthony Davis.
Age 17, yeah.
At 17.
Yeah.
Right? And I watched the NCAA tournament. He dominated there. He fits in the system. They already have Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, centers. Mm-hmm. They just need a long guy like that. They just got rid of Luka. It's like the perfect bandage for their situation.
If you had to give a simple yes or no answer, which is, are NBA drafts rigged? Yes or no?
Yes.
They are rigged.
I heard it from LeBron. And I believe LeBron.
Okay.
On his podcast, he heavily insinuated that it's rigged. He insinuated heavily that him going to Cleveland was rigged.
Trivia question for you. Mm-hmm. LeBron was the first overall pick that year he got drafted. Mm-hmm. I think it was 2003.
I believe so.
Yeah. Carmelo was the third pick.
Who was 2?
Yeah.
Who was 2?
I could give you the team.
Was it?
They won the championship that year.
They won the championship that year, and they had the number 2 pick.
Yeah.
In 03, was it not the Pistons?
It was the Pistons.
Pistons. Who did they draft? Tayshaun Prince?
No. No. This name is one of those like you're gonna scowl.
Oh, Darko. It's Darko.
Darko who?
Milicic. Darko. Oh my God. How do you pronounce his name?
Yeah, Darko Milicic's the one.
Yeah.
So he got picked over. He's Serbian, Serbian blood. He got picked over Carmelo, Bosch, Wade, even Chris Kaman.
Yeah.
Other All-Stars in that. David West was in that draft. Kendra Perkins was in that draft. Josh Howard was in that draft. Luke Walton was in that draft.
That's a draft class. That's a good draft class.
Yeah. Mo Williams was in that draft class. Kyle Culver was in that draft class.
All Clevelanders, actually.
I didn't know he was that old. Maybe that's why LeBron brought all them in.
All from the same draft
He's
class.
like, let's go.
Corver and Mo
03, let's go. Yeah.
carried them.
Even wasn't Luke Walton their coach, or like he played for them, I think?
I think Luke did play for them.
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade even played for them with LeBron
Let's not think about that. That was a
for a moment.
very interesting. That was like a Johnny Unitas on the Rams kind of deal.
That was like the Lakers bringing in Gary Payton and Karl Malone.
Oh man,
We had a chance there.
I
too.
do also think about if they weren't injured, I think that finals would have been a little bit different. I don't know if we would have won. I don't know.
I agree. I don't think I was looking. I'd have to go back and look at it because I wasn't watching basketball with the same eyes that I have now, and I don't see the game the same way. And I don't remember injury reports too much,
Yeah.
but I do remember feeling that we had a chance.
I do remember feeling Tayshaun Prince locked the fuck out of Kobe Bryant
Yeah,
for 6 games.
yeah. That dude's arms were. He was like the original Slender Man.
I remember when the Pistons, the 04 Pistons, when Ben Wallace used to dunk, they used to play like the Undertaker gong. And then I think the Lakers were down. Oh, you need a back rest. The Lakers were down, I think like 16, and then we're coming back. I think we cut it down to 9. Chauncey or Tayshaun shoots a 3, rims out. I'm like, here we go, right? 9 points is doable.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Wallace jumps over Shaq's, grabs it and dunks it. And that gong like traumatized me till the Lakers won against the Celtics in 2010.
Yeah, those were that gap between those times was tough.
It's because that would it would have been 4 and 5, so that would have been nice. But I don't know. It's like I don't want to call it the retirement team, but it was like that's when the Lakers got Steve Nash in like the 2010s. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, is this gonna be like a Gary
Luol
Payton, Karl Malone?
Deng,
Yeah,
Luol Deng, we had to pay for a long time.
yeah.
Kobe, people thought we were overpaying for a long period of time at the back end of his career. You know, people were questioning his contract. I remember. Yeah, there were some dark times.
Yeah, I really like the 9 and 10 team lineups.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's say like Bynum just played every game.
Bynum, Lamar, Artest,
Gasol, even like the Matt Barnes,
Mm-hmm.
like the wings who could play defense and shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe Bryant, Derek Fisher came back,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we needed him.
It was a nice, and I wouldn't even call them set pieces. It's just kind of like a nice little Ocean's 11 kind of deal that,
A well-rounded team.
yeah, like Phil Jackson did well,
Kind of like how I feel like the Pacers are right now.
but they're inconsistent.
They're inconsistent.
Yes.
They're not developed.
Is Halliburton overrated?
No.
Is Halliburton overrated before the playoffs?
No.
Why does he shoot such ugly jumpers?
I just think he is a born playmaker and not a born shooter.
Mhm.
And I respect that game.
Yeah.
And I think shooting is something that you can learn and develop
Yeah.
more than playmaking.
Yeah, playmaking is
Playmaking, I kind of almost feel like you have it or you don't. If you don't have anticipatory skills and play reading skills and spatial skills and even memory, just like be able to like see the court, look away, remember what's over there,
Yeah.
and identify these things at game speed
and moving pieces.
and moving pieces. Like, sure, I'll sacrifice. And you know where your shooter is.
Yeah.
I don't have to shoot if I know how to get the ball to my shooter.
Yeah.
I think
And
that
he has
makes
good shooters.
I think that makes you a superstar
He,
at that level.
I always see him as like discount Magic Johnson.
Yeah, I can see that.
Probably less flashy,
Yeah,
not just because he plays for Indiana.
yeah.
Similar, not as flashy as passes, but flashy-ish.
I think
Probably tries a little
that's-
bit more on defense.
I think that is a product of the franchise. I think Magic seemed flashier because he was in Hollywood.
And they ran up and down the court.
I've seen Tyrese Halliburton do behind the back passes, little spin things, and all this stuff.
Yeah, but they're
But in Indiana, they praise the hardworking, blue collar,
that's
like
true.
tough defense thing. Where in LA, it's like it's showtime, like
Yeah, and then-
lobs. Like if he was the same player in LA, they would call Tyrese Halliburton
Showtime too.
Showtime.
Yeah.
They'd call him it might be the moment or whatever, but he would be Magic Johnson.
I kind of want to add on to that because like when we got Luka, they're like, oh, it might be Showtime too. But Showtime. Obviously, a lot of people weren't alive watching it, but it's very fast paced, right?
Yep.
You get the ball, you run down the court.
Yep.
He has a guy on the left, guy on the right, guy behind him, right? But and then I always look back, be like, how'd they play defense? Like,
Well, they left.
they left one.
Will Chamberlain in the back,
Yeah,
or
Kareem.
Kareem in the back. Had Kareem just throw it up, them run it.
Yeah, but Kareem used to run up too. I know they.
Oh, in his later years when
Yeah, I know-
during the Magic hybrid years, he would just wait back there.
I know they had a lot of like hybrid. I call them like hybrid power forwards. Like they're very well rounded. They just don't shoot threes like the ones they do now. They're like they're like discount Tim Duncans, right?
Yeah.
They rebound. They know how to post. Like Worthy, Rambis, AC Cooper, but and then Byron Scott could jump out of the building back then. Probably I don't know if Byron Scott could still dunk. That'd be pretty amazing.
I wouldn't be surprised. He seems like a spry guy.
He's tank commander.
Oh, who's he tanking for right now?
No one, but
Oh,
Yeah.
the Lakers tank him.
I mean, but he tanked. I think he tanked for the Cavs to get Kyrie. I think he tanks for
Kings.
maybe the Kings, but a lot of the teams he played for, it seemed like they played hard, but
He didn't get a fair shot.
yeah, I don't feel
He
like
was a rebuild coach.
they were winning. But I feel like they like hired him for that, not just the Lakers, like other teams.
Yeah.
Let's see. Byron Scott has coached the Kings as an assistant. Oh, the Nets. The Nets after their was it their final run? So the Nets, Hornets, Cavaliers, and the Lakers. As a player, he's a 3-time NBA championship. First team all rookie. He's a FIBA Eurostar for a Greek team, Panathinaikos. I don't know how to say that, but yeah, they also have a soccer team. My friend and I have this debate a lot. I know you don't watch too much European sport. He thinks Europeans. I always say, I'll say the prologue, which is, he says Europeans are more passionate than Americans, and I'm like, well, how do you measure passion? Like, there's people who go to Laker games where you're spending like half of their salary on games. So is that not passionate just because we don't sing? But I also tell him, you Europeans say that because you guys have nothing else and you guys can't even balance out your stupid budgets. So in your opinion, what constitutes as passion for like a sports fandom?
I think they're equal. I semi-tangent. I rabbit hole this one YouTube channel of this guy, English guy who reacts to American things.
Yeah.
And one of those things is sports.
Yeah.
College football, there's no comparison to how much passion we have compared
Yeah.
to.
It's almost cult-like, right?
It's cult-like, like in like the South and Texas, and like these things that they do for college athletes, not even pros.
Yeah.
These are 18-year-olds.
Sometimes not younger.
You
Yeah.
know, sometimes younger,
Yeah.
right? Getting treated like superstars with posters on walls, locker rooms that are
Yeah.
state of the art, you know, all this stuff. And we're passionate about that. I don't know if we're passionate about the school,
Yeah.
if we're passionate about the sport, we're passionate about the spirit of the game
Yeah.
or what it is. I think that what I would use to describe the Europeans and how they celebrate their sport, it's a little bit more rambunctious, maybe.
Yeah.
Like they're more willing to go tether into the illegal territory, like the
Controlled chaos. Here,
controlled
right?
chaos. There's also a lot of me versus you instead of like the game.
Yeah.
In what this guy in this YouTube channel he compared to in European stadiums, there's police in like the stairways dividing the fans. Like if you're
Yeah, you're a
this
supporter.
fan,
Yeah.
there's literally police presence.
Yeah.
In American stadiums, they mingle all the time. They cheer and they boo like
Yeah.
between each other. There's no
Yeah.
danger.
There's
Still
yeah.
passion. I think that Europeans think that since they're willing to quote unquote die for their team,
Yeah.
that they're more passionate, but they're just hoodlums.
Yeah. One of the big criticism. Do you know who your brother-in-law supports? Does he like?
Yeah, he's a Man U fan.
I'm a Man U fan, but I hate the Glazers, so I'm so conflicted.
Yeah.
It's like you know how I compare that fandom to? It's like imagine I'm very fond of like, let's say you, but I hate your parents. Like let's say that your parents are like racist. They openly talk shit about Koreans or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, but Matt's so nice. Like, how do I?
How did it become this way?
That's how I feel about Man United. I don't have anything against their players. They're trying hard.
Yeah. I don't either.
But
I usually just don't vote. I don't know if this is just random or just a thing. I tend to not be a fan of teams that are red. Their color is red. Or they have a primary red.
any team you could think of that's you're like neutral about. Not that you don't care about. Like you watch the sport, but you're like, no, they're all right.
Yeah.
That's red.
That's red?
Yeah. Any team that's red that you're like, no.
The Cardinals.
You're like neutral?
Neutral.
Yeah.
See, like I don't like the Phillies. I don't like the St. Louis Cardinals. Like those those Reds like bring me a little bit of like anger.
I do give Phillies fans for being passionate. I do give them fans.
The passion, I agree. I just
and then great lineup. And then I don't know why they climb poles. That's never. They become like monkeys. All of a sudden they have to grease up poles in the city. And then St. Louis Cardinals fans, they're like historians. Like I think I don't know if I was at Busch Stadium or Dodger Stadium, but I said something to a Cardinals fan like, you're gonna give up your lead again to Chicago, and they're like, oh, is this like the time you lost the 2008 championship series to the? I'm like, why? Why do you know this? It's 2016.
For some reason, that those Midwest areas, they know baseball so much. And it's not that I don't like the fans. The fans I think are great. It's just the teams and like just like my preference of when I see a color, it just like bring. My favorite color is purple. I'm a Vikings fan. I'm a Lakers fan. It just makes sense. Like to
So you're moving to Minnesota. That's what you're saying.
Minnesota has barely cracked my top 10 of places I'd consider living.
Name 5.
Name 5?
If you like to be open about it.
Yeah, I mean, like how like specific, like state wise.
You could do state. You could do city.
I mean,
you could do country. You could do countries.
Oh, that's too macro, but there are other countries. California is up there. Hawaii has been up there.
Yeah.
Oregon, Colorado, Montana, Texas. Above New England, so anything north, like Maine, New Hampshire,
the Northeast,
the Northeast,
the Northeast of the Northeast,
Northeast.
Yeah, the Northeast.
And then I'd probably venture back into the Great Lakes area.
But not Minnesota.
Like in Minnesota. Yeah, I wouldn't do like Wisconsin, and I wouldn't do like North Dakota.
I like Wisconsin. Wisconsin's fine. Yeah.
I there's no appeal. For some reason, I associate it with the color red, and I just don't.
Not green or cheese or.
And this won't make any sense to you, but one of the first maps I had as a kid, and I learned my states and capitals, it was like a color one.
Yeah.
I colored Wisconsin red, and for some reason, I just associate Wisconsin
triggers how
is just red.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of their teams are green. Like Bucks are green.
Yeah,
Packers
the
are green.
Badgers.
Brewers have some green in them. Yeah.
Badgers
are reddish. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but and I never. This is a weird, like, very generalized statement, but. You know when you meet people from like different places, like Texas,
I've done that.
Yeah, you've done that once or twice. You meet people from different places, and like I never met anybody from Wisconsin. I'm like, I fucking hate that person. Like they might have flaws or they might be petty.
Yeah.
But never like that person
No, I
needs
don't
to
hate
lead the
them.
group.
Yeah.
You know.
But I don't like, and I think this is just because of developed fandom. I don't like Green Bay fans.
Let's say you're not a Vikings fan.
I think I would like them a little bit more.
Okay.
But I just think that like it's just something about the green. It's like the green is also like I don't know if it's a color thing, this whole chromatic thing that we're talking about, but I love purple.
Yeah.
So I hate the Celtics. They're green. The Green Bay Packers are green, and I'm a Vikings fan. It's like this color dichotomy war in my head going on where
There's a
green
wheel.
is
There's
the
a
enemy.
color. There's a color wheel. That's.
Yeah.
Do you know
Even though I like the color green in like my style and like I'm literally actually
you're wearing green, yeah.
right now. You know what I mean? Like I love dark green colored cars.
Yeah.
Like I love an emerald green color. But when I see sports teams
That are green?
against my purple, it's just like there's something.
What other green teams are there?
A's?
Do the A's bother you?
A little bit.
Yeah?
The yellow saves.
The yellow saves them.
The yellow saves.
I mean, that is a nice look.
Yeah.
I mean, I do feel bad for the fandom and the team and this, their horrible owner.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nepo baby. If you don't know about him,
Yep.
that is a nepo baby to the T. Like a little tangent about nepo babies. Like people are like, oh, that's like Gracie Abrams got famous because of her dad. Like, or like
Who?
Gracie Abrams is J.J. Abrams' daughter. She's a pop singer now.
I don't know her.
It's okay.
I know who J.J. Abrams is.
So he has a daughter.
Yeah,
named
Gracie.
Gracie.
A singer. Pop
Yeah,
star?
she's a singer, and she's maybe because I'm a teenage girl, I like her, but she sings young woman songs.
Top 40.
It's
40
not
stuff.
as poppy as like Sabrina Carpenter,
Mm-hmm.
but she plays guitar. She
Okay.
plays music. J.J. Abrams is a great musician. I don't know if you know that.
I did not know.
Yeah,
that.
he can play like piano and stuff. Yeah. He also wrote a movie called Gone Fishing, starring Danny Glover and Joe Pesci.
Fan of both.
You should
I haven't
check
seen
out.
the movie.
You should check out Gone Fishing
Yeah.
before you say that movie. But before you say that, and then or like like any child actor who was like a parent as an actor. But like to me, if they're douchey. But if I grew up, I talked to Ryan about this last time. Like if I grew up and my dad was like an investment banker, obviously he's gonna talk about his job somehow, unless he's so separation of church and state. He's gonna mention his job while I'm growing up. Or I'm gonna be curious to know, like, what do you do?
If he's proud of it.
He's proud of it, or like it's
he's not
like,
ashamed of it.
or my mom's gonna be like, oh, like why is dad stressed? Or why is dad never here? Right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hear something about it. So like, a lot of like judges' kids go into law, right? So like, why is that different from actors? Especially if it's an appealing job and you already have a foot in. Yeah, if they're like ungrateful about it and douchey about it, yeah, that's something. But it's like there's nepotism everywhere. Like,
Yeah. I agree. I think it's like a good thing.
yeah,
Like I'm kind of going through it right now, like to get into it personally, like with my dad, like he's teaching me, my dad owns a tax preparation
Yeah.
business and he's going to retire soon. And I'm working on, and it's being worked on being passed to me.
yeah.
And and that's like the first time I've felt any form of quote unquote nepotism or anything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, what are parents supposed to do but like
Help your kid.
guide them to something? And if a child can't find their own passion or desire or whatever to do whatever they want, then at least they have someone and something that they can fall back on.
Yeah, I always talk about like I don't know if you know the story of Prince Fielder. So Prince Fielder's dad's a baseball player, and his dad wasn't like he was not around in his life. So his godfather, Cecil Fielder. I mean, Cecil Fielder was his dad. His Kirby Puckett, I think. Some I forgot. Some MLB player.
They're related?
No, they're not. But he like taught him how to play baseball. Like Cecil Fielder was not involved in his life.
Okay.
Blood related.
Yes.
Cecil's son is.
But not Prince. Yeah.
Yeah, but Prince Fielder, MLB All Star,
Right.
great runner for that size of a body.
Right.
He was taught baseball by somebody else.
Kirby Puckett.
It was somebody in Cecil Fielder's team. I'll look that up. But
That's a big deal.
so like, is that not nepotism? Like,
Yeah, I mean that's a form. That's probably
Yeah.
like tangential.
but like
nepotism.
it's positive. So like, let's say I'm a great hockey player, and this is not. I mean, Valencia is kind of a hockey town for LA, but let's say I'm a great hockey player. I retire, like I'm teaching at the Cube, which is an ice rink here. So if I'm teaching and I see one kid who's like parentless or like I don't know, he doesn't even have to be parentless, but let's say I took special care of him because he's good.
Yeah.
Like, obviously it's skill based, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't get. That's why like I never understood like the Bronny James thing. Like obviously he's good enough to
Right.
play. It's not like he's like
It clearly shows he's good enough to play.
yeah. So like, could he start? That's an argument thing, but
I mean, where nepotism starts getting ugly, I don't know. I think of politics, nepotism in politics,
yeah,
and I think that's not the best because you're affecting the lives of the public and not just your own private family life,
Mm-hmm.
in a sense. Like, I don't agree with, Hunter Biden or the Trumps being as close to the presidency as like they have been and the benefits that they both have.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what is a parent supposed to do?
Let me take that Prince and Cecil Fielder story back because
Okay.
that's the wrong father son.
Okay.
But so they grew up together. But I forgot who it was, but there was a baseball player who did not grow up with his father, and his dad was a baseball player. And then there was a lineman on the Bills. I forgot his name, but he was Karl Malone's son. And then,
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then he didn't grow with Karl Malone. So things like that. And then again, that's a physical job, right? You need to be physically talented to play tackle in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like, oh, put my son in. I'm sure he'll do a great job,
Right.
protecting Josh Allen, right? Or,
I mean, it could start in the younger years with like nepotism, but not like in the job market.
yeah,
You know,
obviously,
like,
like you play your son. And
You
the
play your
coach's
son, the
and then they get
coach's
more-
son gets more minutes,
Yeah.
which leads to an opportunity for him as opposed to like someone like, sure, you can make that argument.
But I think in the pros, it's such a different level thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
You either have it or you don't at that point.
because it's not just like you show up for one game, right?
Mm-mm.
It's not like they play for one season. But let's kind of segue to podcasting.
Sure.
I wanted to talk about, or I guess I want to talk about it. Biggest challenge of your guys' podcast.
Biggest challenge of the PodDogs podcast.
Yeah.
Well, we have a couple. I would say the first thing is the editing in general. The editing table is a chokehold in the podcast, in our podcast. We are decent at like getting together, setting time to record, even organizing thoughts on spreadsheets. Our Discord channel is active, whatever. But once we have the recordings, we're up. We record kind of like at 8 o'clock at night. We'll do like an hour. It's 9 o'clock. We'll prep a little bit. Uploading videos takes like sometimes an hour or two, depending on the quality of like the size.
Yeah,
And then it just sits on the editing table for longer than it kind of needs to.
that's not. There's no like prompty schedule of like,
Right.
getting it done.
And it takes a minute. You know what I mean? And at the beginning, before you start editing what an hour-long podcast, it feels daunting, and you don't know exactly where to start. Lining all this stuff up at the beginning is, tedious. It is something that I hope we get to like hire off, like where an editor will come in and do that for us so we can focus more on it.
Yeah,
But overall, editing's the hardest thing, and then maybe we haven't had a difficulty doing this because we haven't really tried. But a lot of people say like find your niche or find your niche, or
Yeah.
whatever. We haven't really done that.
I'm at piggybacking on that. I feel like we're trying to step away from that.
I agree. I think general is better.
I don't know how Ryan. And then people do ask this question a lot, which it used to annoy me a lot more. Which is like, hey, I have a podcast, right?
Oh, I know.
And then they always ask, "What's it about?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you should. I don't care if it's about fucking wallpaper.
Right.
You should check it out or help me. And then to me, Ryan knows the story really well, which is, like I'm writing that book, and then a lot of people are like, "I'll buy your book when it's in sale." I'm like, you're willing to pay $20 for a book, but you don't want to subscribe to a free podcast. I'm like, where does that math make sense? Like,
I think people have a problem these days of saying things just to say things. Like they don't actually just think about what they're saying and follow through what they're saying just so the moment doesn't feel awkward.
yeah, and
Like
then I do, and then I mean, I used to think that way too, but like it happens online, and then
There's no consequences of you not following through anymore
Yeah.
because you can hide. That's the thing.
oh yeah, you could hide, you could shuffle. That's what I
Yeah.
call it. You shuffle excuses. You're like,
Yeah.
you
You know what I mean? Like,
you
and I'm guilty of it
Yeah.
too. I do the same. Like,
I call it the Doctor Stranging. You Doctor
Yeah.
Strange it. You're like,
oh, I'm traveling. I've got this. Going on, I
my
got a
Spotify's
class,
fucked
I'm going to
up.
Vegas this weekend to see my family.
Yeah.
It got lost in my 100,000 Gmail emails. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. But I think people have good intentions and they don't want to look bad and make a moment awkward. So they'll say the right things, but not really realize there's no substance.
Let me ask you a two-part question. So one would be, it'd be kind of like, I don't know how to phrase this correctly, which would be, what's the best spotlight to come out of it? And what I mean by that, like, I'm sure there were some nice, charming moments, like, hanging out with your friends or getting to know your friends better or spending time with your friends, right? But like for me, and then what is that externally? And to explain that terrible question better, for me, I'm surprised we have listeners. Like for me,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's pretty consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Like the numbers skew, and I'm like, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
But like we took that long gap, and we came back. When we came back, that episode did okay, but the one afterwards, like, "Mwah." And I'm
Yeah.
like, is it the topic? Is it the thing? But I do get a lot of feedback, and sometimes unsolicited. Like I don't ask, like, how do you think? What do you think? And people do give feedbacks, which I appreciate, whether it's positive or negative.
Mm-hmm.
Even like the person I mentioned earlier, they're like, you should get guest, go get the fifth round draft pick for the Chargers. Like you don't know if he's gonna make it big or not. Like just go interview them. Like you're not an NFL player. You don't know what it's like being drafted, which is a good idea, but it takes a lot more work, right?
Right.
So I like getting feedback. So that's a spotlight. Another spotlight is like I don't know if you get this from Ryan too. So like I hear a lot of behind the scenes story, right? Oh, like I can't set up because of this, or like I can't like my room's fucked up because of X, Y, and Z, or like whatever. My floor's like I would have never really known. Like, yeah, it's not a secret. He would have told me eventually, but it's not something I would ask him. Like, is your floor coming to plan? So
Right.
I did find things about that, and then everybody I interviewed, I already know them prior, but I kind of went in just like okay, like I know them. I want to share their story, but I learned a lot more about them just by interviewing them. So
Yeah, we haven't. I mean, we haven't done an interview yet. We've talked about doing that, but we also have the problem where we're getting to the point where there might be too many people on microphones and overlap, and who talks and when we talk
okay,
is
yeah,
kind of a thing where with you, Ryan dips and then you're interviewing someone and you have that kind of content.
yeah,
And we were talking about earlier how with Andrew Schultz's podcast with Flagrant, that's kind of how they do it, and kind of how I foresee ours being of some sort. I want to do interviews. I think that's kind of what got me into wanting to do podcasts actually in the first place.
Yeah.
Was having the opportunity to talk to people you wouldn't normally talk to about topics that are not surface level.
Mm-hmm.
I have a problem where I hate chit chat. Like I really don't like small talk.
Should we stop this now?
No, this because this it goes deep. Like
Yeah.
like podcasts can go like levels and deep, and like also I know it takes a little bit of chit chat to like get the engine rolling to get into like the deeper thing. I totally get that, but podcasts felt like like real shit's being talked about, real discussions, like solutions.
Yeah.
Where people are just like, "Oh, Trump," like I don't like that shit
Yeah.
in person. I don't like texting. You know me, like I barely text. Like I can't hold a text conversation with 3 people at the same time
Yeah.
and be emotionally invested in all of them and trying to interpret emotions through. I just can't. So this podcasting thing felt like more aligned
Yeah.
to that.
Something about first of all, something about speaking to the microphone. It's like whether there's listeners or not. And then when do I listen? Like I think we're forced to listen, like call back to our episodes because we have to edit it. So let's say we live in a world like we hire somebody to edit it. Like would I listen to it again? Probably, but not right away.
Right.
So that's something interesting. I know lots of people listen because they're my friends. I know a lot of I get some random ones. So
More than we get. I can't even get my own mom to listen.
my mom. Do you want to know my mom's reaction?
What?
We used to eat dinner once a month. So we ate. I'm like, hey, I have a podcast, and she's like, yeah, your sister told me about it, right? I'm like, yeah, like I'm your neighbor, right? I'm not your son.
Yeah.
My sister told me about. Oh yeah, even though I texted everybody in the family, but yeah, of course. So I'm like, she was in a good mood, so I'm like, hey, you want to hear it? She goes, okay. So she listens to it for literally 7 seconds, like 1, 2. She goes, I don't like your voice. I don't want to listen to it.
I think we both are gonna have that issue where garnering the attention of the female audience is just gonna be so hard.
It's
Until the tone of the podcast switches. You get more female guests, female centric conversations, like these things that are just gonna attack women. Don't mind listening to men, but women want to hear men talk about women. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
women want to hear
no,
talk
you have a point
men
there.
talk about like relationships. They don't want to hear men talk about sports. They don't want to hear men talk about, you know, whatever made them laugh, their fart jokes
Even
or whatever.
even
you know
my
what
co-host doesn't like me talking about sports.
I mean? Yeah,
He just deals with it.
yeah, he just deals with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I do think, I don't know. I do want to make an attempt to not be so male driven on the podcast.
Yeah, it's talking to like locker room talk, right?
Yeah. I don't want to be a bro podcast.
Yeah.
But I don't mind being a bro. I'm proud of being a guy. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, you know, like I feel good in my quote unquote masculine energy. But at the same time, I know it's so off putting to like a whole demographic of people when you're not engaging them as well.
Analytically, I think it's like 7-3 ratio for me, like male to female.
Oh, you have those metrics?
Yeah.
From which
Spotify.
Yeah.
And then
Ryan might have them. I don't know.
our big one is it's called Discovery, I think. I forgot what Spotify calls it, but our Discovery is like, let's say, easy math, like 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
So the conversion rate, I think industry standard is like, it's like 20% or 30%. I forgot the number, but ours is lower than that. But people who actually click it do listen to it. So it's not just people who are clicking my link that I'm like, click the link and listen to it.
Yeah.
Like people do find it and people do listen to it. So that conversion rate's like 70, which is like way above industry standard. So that's doing good. But if people are looking at it and not clicking, so people who click it and listen to it, they're listening. So the ones who are seeing the podcast, and I don't know how they measure seeing. Is it scrolling by? Is it actually like reading it? But if that conversion is not good, that means like our icon sucks. So Ryan and I even thought about like we need to do a photo shoot, but obviously getting together is kind of hard. And then he sent me some photos. I'm like, we don't look the same.
I thought the same thing too.
Yeah. And then going back to the woman thing, so we had woman guests. The couple one did really well, and one of the reasons I think it's because they have a pretty good Instagram following, like the British couple who traveled.
Mm-hmm.
It was new at the time, and even when they came back, and then they seem like nice people. They sound nice. They're British. You know, going back to my British
Welcoming voices.
welcoming voices of the British. It just sounds proper, right? It just sounds right.
Yeah.
Right for imperialism. Proper. Yeah. And then you know, they traveled in New Zealand, and you know their episode was long. And then I remember the first one, the quality was kind of like audio quality wasn't great because they were like they're about to fly, they're outside, right? It was like my first time doing it. It was audio only, but they had enough followers, so like their followers clicked. I got my like UK numbers up, which kind of prompted the algorithm to be like, oh, maybe this is international, you know?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But like, let's shift focus from like Spotify. I get a lot of this excuse because you guys do it on Spotify and YouTube. Is that it?
Yes. I think we
You don't do
mostly focus YouTube,
but no Apple Music, right?
No.
We
too much work for not enough pay yet.
I agree. So I'm not gonna say never, but I'm probably not gonna go to Apple Music. But I get a lot of I don't have Spotify, and I go I could give you the link, and some people listen to it. But now, like you know, the testers out there, they're like, put it on YouTube. I'll listen to it.
Yeah.
So as I told you earlier, our track champion, he's been YouTubing all of it. So that's kind of interesting. But obviously, YouTube has a lot more eyeballs than Spotify, a lot more years than I. It's more accessible. It's more. That algorithm's kind of fun and it like ping pongs around, like because they try different things, right?
Yes.
So I don't know about. I know you're on YouTube a lot as a viewer. I don't know if you've been seeing like new creators' videos.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot lately, like of 2025, right? It's not the
Yes.
same. Like you'll get your theme, right? Like
my interface layout for YouTube is like the 6. It's like 3 and then 3 like videos, like the first 6 videos,
Yeah.
right? Whatever my algo decides I want to see. You know, it's a mix of sports and stuff like that, and all with a lot of views. But one of those 6 videos will have less than 2,000 views, and it'll be from a content creator that I've never heard of, that I've never subscribed
Fairly
to.
new.
But there's some sort of tangential connection in the algo that wants me to see a new user, as opposed to just everything I'm subscribed to and everything that's popular.
Could you give an example?
I couldn't because they're names I haven't heard of.
But what would be the content?
It would be like someone doing like the NBA finals.
Okay,
It would
okay.
be like someone make like a 15-year-old making I'm going to review game 4 of the NBA finals. And just because like like Google knows I'm watching the
Yeah.
games or whatever, it's giving me a new content creator on like their new channel, and like it feels force fed, but I like it because I know that if I create something, there's a chance that like my little small channel
Could.
is going to be on one of these 6 blocks.
Yeah.
And because I don't have 2 million viewers yet or whatever, like
Yeah.
I like it.
They're giving you a chance of.
I don't always click them.
Yeah.
And I see like the differences between the quality on like just the thumbnail
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
other
No, I
one.
see the difference.
And I can but sometimes I do click it. I don't know if I've ever subscribed to one of these small ones, but I do like the taster of getting it.
The taster.
Yeah, the taster.
Okay.
Taster.
I do like putting my. I used to not like my name for a while. I think it was like a teenage angst thing, right? Because I got a lot of like, how do you say your name? Well, but did people say that with Matt?
No, that's why I went to Matt, because I didn't like Matthew.
Oh.
Because my name's Matthew, and
Who called you Matthew besides family?
Jessica Longpree. Or Jessica Cheney now, but like it's just very few people from like elementary, like Mountain Avenue, you know, like
Oh yeah, yeah.
like
yeah,
I've known
yeah.
Jessica since kindergarten, and like it's just been Matthew. I don't even remember.
You did all 7 years there?
Yeah, kindergarten all the way through.
Who are the people I know who did? Let's drop names. Who did 7 years there?
Jessica and Peta.
No, Rosika.
No, 4th grade. Nate 4th grade. Nas 4th grade. And I think that's.
I know Nas moved because Jazz moved.
Yeah.
So I knew that, and then because I did 3rd grade to 6th grade there, but
Okay.
but I'm an immigrant, so that's I didn't do kindergarten here. So
Could you name your teachers?
oh yeah,
I could too.
I still talk to the 6th grade.
I still need to talk. I need to catch up with. She's not Thomasella anymore, but my favorite teacher of all time,
Nancy?
hands down. Nancy is.
Nancy.
Oh, dude! I wish we could do a segment on Nancy, on the 3 of them.
Oh yeah,
I think
yeah,
they
yeah,
are legendary people. Like when I think of the impact that these 3 women have had, in almost like in a worldly sense, like the 6th grade teachers for 20 years, and like the people who have gone through and become what they've become.
yeah.
It's like I think these 3 women need statues at Mount Avenue.
One of the reasons, I mean, I feel like a couple of them do have a lot of power there, but
Yeah.
I think one, it's a good school.
It's a great
It's a great school.
Great
So,
district.
Great district, and then within that district, great school.
Yes.
Well funded.
Well funded.
PTAs well. I remember that's how I started recycling.
And the secondary
right?
schools afterwards
Yeah.
are all good too, so you know you're going to the right things.
And then even like, I mean, not to brag to everybody else in that area, where do we go for our 6th grade trip? Washington, D.C.
Hell
Not
yeah.
like you Camp Highland folks, but nothing against Camp Highland and Astro World, but
Astro Camp.
Astro Camp. But I mean, even the idea of let's get these students, everybody in 6th grade technically who could pay for it or afford it, right? Let's get, and some parents every year to Washington, D.C. for a week, right? Even the logistics of that.
Yeah.
Every year.
Every year.
I know they've been doing it for a while, so it's like, it's probably just,
Rinse, repeat.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just new with new kids, right?
Yeah.
New trouble, new kids. And then I'm glad I asked Ingram Schroeder about like, does it ever get old? And she's like, no, because like it's new adventure, new kids. Like she loves DC, I think. So
I love that trip. I still have core memories of multiple incidents from that trip.
I already like DC because I like history. I like DC because the plaza has so many, like that plaza alone probably has better museums than like some countries, right? It's a nice walk.
Yep.
Weather's a little bit better than Maryland or Virginia for some weird reason, but it's also colder. But it's a nice place to be.
The layout.
The layout,
Yeah.
even the little pockets of other cities around it. But like I'm way more fond of DC because of the 6th grade trip. And then you probably speak the same way. Like, you know, obviously you it's like your first big trip with your friends, right? With that many people that far. It wasn't a field trip to like Long Beach. It wasn't a field trip to like, you know, like Space Center.
Getting on a plane.
Getting on a plane with your friends in a group.
Yeah.
You all have to get there on time. Like,
Exactly.
and then you're there for what, like 5-6 nights?
Yeah.
So, and then you know some parents, you know some chaperones.
In the middle of like being a kid, You know, like you have like your friends that you want to do like play Game Boy with, and there's girls that you have crushes on. Like, oh, am I ever gonna like be in line with them
Yeah.
at like the thing? You know what I mean? And it's just it was a whole big part of growing up.
Yeah.
Because I had been there since kindergarten, it was something that I looked forward to from that age.
I mean, you know, Jimmy Otero. We're doxing a lot of people today.
Live in his old room.
Yeah, you know Jimmy Otero, right? Jimmy Otero's mom. I know her very well because she was my chaperone at Washington D.C.
The Don.
The Dawn. Yeah, she was my adult that you have to like. You're in that group, right?
I know you had a fun time.
I had a great time. And then, yeah, obviously we weren't drinking Jello shots. Right. That's different when I turned 21.
Yeah.
Jimmy's 21st birthday, very different from Jimmy's 12th birthday. Not just in body and size, just in, I gotta have him listen to this. But yeah, and then, and then for a while, I didn't know him and his cousins were cousins. Because I was friends with both of them.
The Campbells?
Yeah, I didn't know that for a while.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like a junior or senior in high school.
Yeah, I actually didn't know until we bought their house.
I was at the Campbell house, and then Dawn came in. I'm like, wait a minute. Why are you here?
How do you know? How do you guys know?
You know these people?
As neighbors and related?
And Tom was like, oh, you're friends with Jimmy? I'm like, yeah. But it makes sense why I didn't know. Because, like, in person, because Jimmy and I played, like, 1 a.m. FIFA together.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm, like, showing up.
I took a trip with both of them, actually. Our moms and I think the Forgies. It was actually just the Suns trip.
The Williams, huh?
Yeah, it was Tommy, Jimmy, Will, and I, and our moms.
Is Katie 4-year grade?
No, my sisters.
Oh, okay.
But I think might have been like my 6th grade. We went to New York. We stayed a week in New York, the 8 of us.
Pre-DC, post-DC?
I don't remember. I gotta ask one of them when it was. And we stayed like literally at Times Square, like across our apartment. Like was where they would film TRL.
No,
like that glass section.
TRL. Please explain to us what Total Request Live is.
Total Request Live
With Carson Daly.
Don't know? Yeah, Carson Daly, top 10.
God.
Come home from school, eat your hot pot.
Oh, I need to see what top number one is.
Pop your Capri Sun.
Backstreet Boys again.
Listen to Hot in Here again. Yeah, that was it.
Will Forgey's one of the first people I met in America.
Really?
Yeah.
Mountain Avenue.
Mountain Avenue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then Will Forgey's good friend Cam Singleton's one of my good friends.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the group. And then they used to hang out with like Natalie. That's how I'm friends with her. Now I'm friends with.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
They were dated.
That's the group. Dude, do you remember your Mountain Avenue crushes?
I had my crushes. Yeah. I don't know if this doesn't count. I don't know. My first girlfriend. I know this is recording only, and I'm air quoting.
Yeah.
But I had my first 6th grade.
The 6th grade girlfriend.
The
6th grade girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah.
The best type. No financial responsibility whatsoever.
That was my first not real, because I quote unquote dated Jessica Longpree for like 10 days or something in like 5th grade maybe.
Who asked who out? Did you ask her out?
I think it was me, her. I think.
Did you go to her house that was so far away from the school? And
Yeah, I've been going to Jessica's house since Jessica's parents' house now since forever.
it's weird because out of the kids, I feel like I talked to for a while. I was talking to number 3 the most online.
Corey?
Yeah, no, that's the youngest.
Oh, Matthew.
Yeah, the other you. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's online and he was just like back in the Facebook days. And then obviously I see Brian here and there. Was not invited to his wedding. No personal text there, but just saying that out there.
Oh, below.
And then he looked like he had a blast at his wedding. So I'm a little bit butthurt that I wasn't there, but I don't think I could have won anyway. I don't think I was in town.
I hate weddings.
I'm going to my 27th wedding.
That's what I don't want.
27th wedding?
No. One a year might be like the sweet spot for me.
One a year every year?
Yeah, I think I would. I like celebrating love, and I'm glad when people like do it. But there's also this like weird feeling of like, this is not. Like I don't even like feel. This should be happening. You know what I mean?
I teased this like episode 32 or 33. Or maybe the last one, but I dated a sorority girl once, and then they didn't hit the wedding train yet, but I'm like, oh, it's happening. And like how involved she was with like everybody, I'm like, I don't even think you like her. I feel like you see this as like a business thing, but mathematically alone, she would have been like a bridesmaid in like 26 weddings.
Yeah, and statistically, you're not going to be friends with those people.
Yeah, and then
I have a slight nightmare. So I don't actually want to dox anyone, but there's two people that we know.
Jane Doe or John Doe?
Two Janes.
Okay.
One is a Jane. She's affluent. She threw parties in high school. Didn't go to our high school. Initials LS. Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah.
Are you picking it up?
There's a picture of her here somewhere, I think.
Oh, for real? Yeah. No.
Yeah.
You know, we got along well. Whatever.
Yeah.
And like her.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah.
Her maid of honor is one of my best girlfriends.
Yeah.
Who's I think. Do you know who I'm talking about before I even have to give initials? RL. And
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
her maid of honor. They literally don't speak at all, and they didn't even have like a falling out. They're just like they weren't actually friends.
One of the things I actually had to talk about this in Japan. I call your group the American Pie group, right? For more reasons than one. And I don't know who the Stifler is still. Like I still think about that. I'm like, who would be the Stifler? Like
We need one.
like Ryan like on default is Jason Biggs, but he's not Jason Biggs, right?
Yeah.
Like is Ryan fucking a pie?
Yeah.
No, but like
I wouldn't be surprised.
just because like to me
he would fuck a pie.
yeah, he's the leader. And is Tiffany Allison Hannigan?
Yeah,
like I don't
no.
think so, right? So, but that's a group, right? Out of the group, like from even what I know, you guys known each other at least since high school.
Somewhat.
So that's decade plus, right?
The big group is a bunch of like splinter groups that have melded together
Like someone welded it.
because of sports.
Yeah.
Actually. There was a lot of like mingling between like track and field and football, soccer and football.
But your group's pretty co-ed though. I know you guys got your bros, but
Co-ed, I think, came from like the dating and also me being friends with Jessica and Nas since I was like 5.
yeah, like a child,
You know
yeah.
what I mean, like going to their house like in elementary school swimming. It's almost like literally to me like sisters.
Yeah.
I've known them for so long. And we've also like gone through drama. And I think a lot of the growing up that we did, what was important is it was pre-social media.
Oh, in person.
In person, like you struggle with someone, like if you're fighting with someone, you fought with them in person or over the phone. It wasn't like
No passive.
I'm gonna write a Twitter comment about some dumb bitch in my 5th period or whatever.
Like our president?
Yeah. And so I think that has helped us sustain that.
I also feel like, like most of you I get along with, but, and then some I probably had a falling out with, but you guys are all nice. And I'm not just saying that because you're sitting here. Like everybody's nice. Well, everybody has some flaws and stuff, and then I think, I don't know, you guys like just kind of like mend well together. Like even like Havasu trips, right?
Yeah.
Logistically, it shouldn't be hard, right? It's like, this is the weekend. Get there.
Yeah.
And then you guys, I think, because going back to like rinse and repeat, I think you guys just know that you guys know how to like band together, how to call the Michael Chicos, how to call, because you guys got a Chico. We have a Chico.
Yeah.
Different people.
Yeah.
Somehow same blood.
Yeah.
Very different in many ways.
Yeah.
Like I can't even picture your one with like 2 of his own children, like.
No, he can't either.
Like in a condo and then move again and go coach baseball.
That's not him.
Yeah.
I think with us is we're really good at not resenting someone for something not going right. Like I see friend groups and friends that like if 2 people had like a date or something that they were gonna go meet up for something and one person couldn't show up for whatever reason.
Yeah.
The person who got stood up gets mad to the point where it almost ends the friendship. Where it's like, dude, I can't believe like you never showed. Like they'll call them out or whatever, like, and then maybe they won't invite them over the next time because they didn't show up the last time. Where with us, it's just like, literally, if like even if you didn't say you weren't coming and you didn't show up,
Yeah.
no one says. It's almost like no one says a word. It's like,
Oh, I get you.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like no hard feelings.
Yeah.
We're still friends. I don't think of you any less. Where I think people kind of give other people a hard time about not showing up to things where they feel like where no one's showing up to anything. A lot of people just ghost and just
Ghost and bail, huh?
ghost and
Or
bail,
bail and ghost.
and they feel guilty. Where the ghost and bailing with our friends, it comes and goes. Where we might bail for like this, but we'll show up for this or whatever it is.
I mean, there's a lot of pros and cons about La Crescenta, a lot more pros than cons. But like I'm going to David Thomas's wedding in 3 weeks.
Cool.
And I've known him since I was 10. And it's not, we never had a falling apart, right? There are years where we're like much closer than other years. But when I tell people like, hey, I'm going to like my friend's house, I mean, I'm going to like my friend's wedding. And if they're like you're describing the relationship is like, oh, like I've known him since I was 10. And obviously I'm not 19.
Yeah.
A lot of people get surprised by that. And it wasn't like surprised like, oh, wow, that's good for you. It was like, I don't have friends like that.
My mom does that with me, and my mom's friends say that about my friends too. It's the difficulty. We got lucky in our generation where we grew up pre-social media.
Yeah.
But like right in our teens, social media helped us stay connected when we were at a point in our lives where everyone was going separate ways after high school.
Yeah, there was some there was a link.
There was a link back.
And then I call it the pre-Facebook era, right? And then there's the nice Facebook era.
Right.
Where it's just young people.
Where like my mom graduating from college, like or high school, like you don't unless you have their phone number and are calling them all the time. You can't just like open your phone and know what this person's doing and feel kind of
connected,
semi-connected, even though you're not actually connected, like caught up with, and that helped a lot.
I had some weird social media thought yesterday, which was, I go to physical therapy like a good human, so I was in physical therapy, but my physical therapist, or the primary one, had a baby like a selfish human, and so he's on paternity leave. Going back to paternity leave.
Yeah.
So he's on paternity leave. So they have a bunch of branches. So a guy from another branch came to kind of fill in for him. So we're talking, and we start talking about like Japan. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to Japan soon." I'm like, "Oh, that's amazing!" Like I was just there. So we're talking about travels and stuff. And then he's like, "I'm like, if you have any questions, just add me on Instagram, and then just message me." And he's like, "Okay." So he adds me on Instagram. He goes, "Hey, we have a mutual friend." I go, "Oh, who is it?" Right? That happened before. I know enough people. He's like, "Oh, it's my wife." I'm like, "Oh, this is awkward." I had to look at who it was first. But I'm like, "Oh, yeah." But I knew she was married. I haven't seen her in a long time. So this friend, I knew she was married. I haven't seen her in like probably before COVID, maybe like during COVID. And I knew she was married. And I knew her husband had like a doctorate of PhD. But like, I'm not like looking at someone's, maybe women do that, maybe other people do that. I'm not looking at someone else's husband that I never met. Be like, let me study his face in case I run into him, right? I was like, oh, cool. Like, you like it. You say congrats. You fuck off, right?
Yeah. Yeah, move on.
And then I was thinking about, I'm like, this is like my friend's husband. And then yeah, small world. But I obviously seen pictures of him, posts of him. But it's like, I never like
put it two together.
I did look at him. I'm like, wait, like, familiar face maybe, right? Didn't really think about it. But it is kind of weird about social media thing because, like, let's say you're married and I met your wife somewhere one time. I would kind of know her if she's probing my thigh. I'd be like, don't I know you? Right? You get that. I'm pretty good with faces, not names. So
this is actually tangents into something I was talking about with the PodDogs.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Dunbar's number?
Of course.
That's where I'm thinking. Like, I feel like your Dunbar number is higher than most.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can tell I hit a max capacity like maybe like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I have to delete people from memory to like
make new space. Yeah.
It's so tough. And even using like the tricks of like repeating people's names and like spelling it or whatever, it's still like getting there. I'm like peaking on how many people I'm trying to balance in my head.
Yeah. What I'm gonna add on to that. So I think I got lucky because I think I'm naturally curious, which is completely like I'll give a really good example. Like my sister, we have the same parents. We grew up in the same house, right? Just different gender, but she's very quiet. My parents aren't quiet. Obviously, I'm not quiet. Outside of this podcast, I'm probably more talkative. Surprising. My sister's just been very reserved. And we all know in our family that my mom would never raise another person's kid. So we know she's not adopted.
Yeah.
Like, it's just out of her, like, it's just, that wouldn't have happened. And I look too much like my parents to be like someone else's kid. But with that being said, like, I've been very fortunate to be in like curious. Also, like I want to know people, and then so the desire is there. Maybe less now than it was like 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And then the third thing is like I've always been in situations to meet people, so that worked out okay. Like obviously, like basic training. Am I gonna be friends with everybody? No, but I'm sure if you had to pick, you have to pick a best guy out of best. Like you, everybody has one.
For what?
Like you have to pick one best friend out of your like basic training group. Like even
Out
like,
of basic training? Yeah, I could probably pick one or two.
yeah, it wouldn't be like
I
no.
wouldn't say even best friend, but like the
Like,
top
yeah, the
range.
top friend, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like, nah, fuck them all, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It'd be
yeah.
at least one or two. Yeah, whether you
There were some shitheads that would be like, fuck them
never
all.
again. Yeah, I'd rather cut off a pinky
Yeah,
than
yeah,
them.
exactly.
And then it just like people naturally click and stuff. And then obviously like playing sports helped. I play a bunch of sports, so
Huge.
like it kind of like adds on.
Huge thing.
Like Ryan. Ryan to me, like when I met him, was like Brent's brother for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't think when I met him, like I'm gonna hang out with Ryan Dorman. Like
Yeah,
that wasn't even like in the realm. I think I was probably better friends with David Ehrlich at the time.
probably.
Yeah, because I knew him. And then David Ehrlich's like, "Oh, you need Microsoft Word? I could hack it for you." I'm like, "Let's go, get on it." You know,
The OG hacker.
the OG hacker. Let's go. And then like your friend's siblings, and sometimes you end up being better friends with like the sibling than the thing, right?
Yeah, and going on that note, which helped me a lot was my sister. People liked being friends with my sister and me, I felt like, and
Yeah.
also it was easier for me to make female friends in different grades because of my sister. And I know my sister's friends are also like the friends that I've made too, because we're 18 months apart.
Here's a narcissistic question: You think more people use you to get to her, or more people used her to get to you?
I think more people use me to get to her, for sure. And I don't even think it's like close.
That's interesting.
Yeah, my sister's good looking, funny,
She's fun.
fun,
She's nice.
chill, down to earth, non-dramatic. My sister's the best. I love my sister.
Yeah.
And so I totally got it. But I will admit that we both benefited from our sibling relationship.
Yeah, and then like she's like I know she's not local, but she's like in the group. One other thing, going back to your group, obviously not everybody's in LA, but I still feel like, I feel like bros who are really good friends from like high school on, you just kind of stick together. Like I have my army friends that I have like a group chat with.
Yep.
Do I keep up with them every day? No,
Nope.
it's just them sharing me stupid memes that I don't care about. But like we keep in touch. Like when they need something, they call me and I call them. And then I know they'll always get me. Like when they could help, they could get me. And then I have other friends like that who are like the Locker Center boys who are not local. But you guys have like people in like Washington and Nevada.
I mean, they originate from here, but they've moved on
They branched off, right?
Right.
But you guys are still close, right? You guys still hang out.
Yeah, we the one, like, for example, like Ryan Ruzika, he's good. He'll set up stuff for us, kind of thing. Not like set up, but like initiate, like, hey,
He'll tee it off.
let's like Lake House, like Tahoe in a couple months, in the group chat, let me know if you can go. You know what I mean? And like it takes something like that to get that going, because sometimes it'll be months where you kind of just don't know what's kind of going on, and especially the ones with kids. He's got 2 now.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more difficult. My military friends, like, I value those a lot differently, but like the same. I can go like 2 years without talking. Like one of my best friends, Drew from the Air Force.
Yeah.
I've gone like a year without talking to him, like, but and like him and I not talking, but it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah.
And every time we talk, after it's been a long time, it's like, dude, I hope you know that just because like we don't talk all the time, like I still don't consider you like my brother. Like we'll make sure we let each other know, but we don't tell each other all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like that, like once a year, like I always have your back kind of thing. Like, I'm sorry for not reaching out as much as I'm a terrible texter. But, I was like one of like his groomsmen, like at his wedding in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And we hadn't even spoken for like 18 months, but like I still feel like that's like my guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just different. Yeah. There's just a different friend for like a different thing.
2 more things, and one's like completely side.
Sure.
One is I have a friend who I went to Rosemont Middle School with, and then after that he moved And then we talked on MySpace and
Top
AIM and
Top 8.
Facebook
Okay, yeah.
and stuff. And then he's back in like he was back and forth in Korea and LA, and then now he's kind of like headquartered in LA. So he was in New York for a while. So I knew, and then he was like venturing off into like entrepreneurship and stuff. So he invited me. Like he does like he has a pretty cool job. He like samples food and like markets them and stuff. So he has like a little kitchen place in East Hollywood. So he invited me and a couple of other friends who were like networking and eating. So him and I were talking, and then like somebody else who I met there, they're like, "Oh, like how'd you guys know each other?" We're like, "Oh, we used to skateboard together in 8th grade," and then I'm like, "This is the first time me seeing him in like 12 years, or like 15 years maybe," and then they're like, "Well, we thought you guys were
Like,
talking,
go way back. Yeah.
and then you guys do go way back, but we thought you were just talking like a week ago or a month ago, like." But yeah, I'm like, I mean, I'll talk online, like I'll say hi or like cool.
It's not the same, but yeah.
Not the same. And then even there are some people like I went to grad school with that both of them, like there's ones I talk to like almost at least on a weekly basis. And then there's ones like, like the Instagram chats, right? Like, hey, like you're doing this, or like you're going to Japan, do this. Yeah. And then I always feel like grateful for that. But I think it's like an accrued skill. I think it's not something like I'm actively thinking like, okay, I gotta check in, like I gotta check in with Winston in New York. I haven't like, but holidays are a good time, like holidays are a good time to say like, send that mass text like, hey, still thinking about you, right?
That couldn't be me. Mass text could not be me.
Well, I do it through the computer, sir.
Okay.
So
Could not be me.
going back to the texting, and this is how I'm gonna segue to number 2, which is I don't like the physical position of my body texting.
Yes.
I don't know because I'm bigger now or I'm not flexible. It's just like having a phone with my wrist in this weird, contused thumbs open, but like my hands making like a heart, and I'm looking down. I just hate that pose. So like I try to transfer everything to my computer. I just try to like mass text.
That's why I asked you to go on Discord, because like I can chat on my
Yeah,
keyboard.
yeah, and
And
it's
so
so much.
I have double monitor, and I see it on this monitor. I can type it out and like go back. It helps my focus.
It's
Instead of
easier.
picking up my phone off the charger.
And then there's like looking, and then I get another alert. So going into that, so this is probably a better question for you rather than Ryan, because Ryan sometimes like I don't know how to explain it. He's like optimistic, romantic.
Yes.
Like he'll do that. Like, well,
he
maybe,
romanticizes.
yeah, he'd be like, oh, maybe they were just busy. I'm like, no, Ryan,
Yeah.
shut the
That's
fuck
our
up.
friend group. That is our friend group.
Yeah.
We have that baseline mentality.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
But
Because we don't want to feel the angst and the anger, and also it's like it's not worth being mad at someone and have the potential of like losing the friendship.
is that everybody in the group?
No, because you know that one, like the one person who we kind of fall when things are kind of. He has that attitude of it's like that negative, like he'll bring up the negative, and then it just dampens the cloud, and like no one wants to hang out.
You ever see that as like a nature balance?
Explain.
Meaning like, let's say there's like a group of Power Rangers. Yeah, the Power Rangers need to be optimistic and brave because they're fighting crime, right? But let's say just 5 friends.
Yeah.
There always has to be like the Eeyore of the group because not everybody could be optimistic. Somebody has to see like the other side of the lake or the grass.
Right.
So you think it's kind of like the balance of? Because I think like you guys are like if I said like the the usual suspects, right? Most of them are chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that things get up. Like I know like Michael Chico gets upset about scenario A, B, and C.
Yeah.
But it's different from like my Chico's group. They're pretty chill, but I know what gets them riled up.
Yep.
Right.
The trigger points. Yeah. The rage baits.
So we bring it up on purpose.
Yeah, of course.
But I think for your group guys, like I don't think you guys like bait people.
No, not really, because we know when we each are trying to do it to each other and we laugh it off.
Yeah.
And there's only like one person who can actually get rage baited.
Yeah.
And it's not fun because they take it too far.
They take it's like
they rage out.
like we're trying to play like we're trying to spar, bro, and then you fucking
exactly. That's a good way to put it. It's like a spar.
Yeah.
And then you say something, and then they can't figure out how to get out of the grapple, and then they just
they rage.
And then it just makes it we don't really want to talk to you.
And it's a long-term thing, not like a and
It becomes a
and then
long-term
it
thing.
builds up, right?
Because it becomes habitual in all conversations. It's like we can't have a conversation without there being a blow up.
Yeah.
And then with this specific instance, I describe the conversations I have with this person as he's having a monologue while everyone else is having dialogue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's talking. The 3 most popular words that this person uses: I, me, my, I, me, my,
I mean,
I, me, my. It's always about you. It's
yeah,
not-
Ryan Dorman.
yeah. It's not you, or like how are you? Like what's new with
Yeah.
you? Like what? Like it's just it's tough.
Yeah, one of the
But
things.
it's still in the group in a weird way. I don't know what the fuck. It's weird.
But do you see that as kind of like a nature balance?
No, I see it as in this. I can see it in other situations, but in this specific situation, I think that it's a psychological thing where there's personal issues where I think this person has gotten some short end of the stick more compared to the rest of the group.
Yeah.
And is feeling a little bit resentful and victimized by it too much, and it's just changed the personality the wrong way.
There's a theory called that's why I think
The 5-person thing.
the 5-person thing, right?
Yeah.
The average of your 5 friends.
This is why I had to cut this one out.
Yeah.
So
So
I could not go that way.
that's good.
And he was in my top 5.
And I think for people, I'm not saying like you guys are all dissimilar because you guys have different jobs, you guys live in different areas, you guys have different professions, and some people are married with kids.
Yep.
Some people are married not kids, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and then I think it's not like you guys have a core that's like, I'm not gonna say it's like unbroken. That sounds dramatic, but the core is set, meaning like the SOP is kind of just there. And it's not like you guys sat down and be like, all right, knights at the table. This is the agreement,
This is our emblem,
right? This is the
Raise your right
agreement.
hand.
Don't come,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Cut your blood and put it on the thing, and then, or they all have like, I don't know, each like a savings pot when the last person surviving wins or something like that.
Yep.
But I think for most people, either the core sucks or it's not enough. Like I think for most people, it's a very situational ship.
Yeah.
I kind of learned that the hard way. You know, when I went to the army, I was gone, so I knew like everybody who wrote me or called me or texted me. I'm sure they cared enough to call me and text me. And then even like I'm not doxing Dan Drugan. Even when I went to Afghanistan, you'll like the story. He messaged me or called me and said, "Hey, do you have a Blu-ray player?" I said, "No, I don't have a Blu-ray player." He goes, "Oh, okay." And then he sent me a Blu-ray, and then it said, "I don't know if you have a Blu-ray player, but like,
yeah.
but I kind of thought about it because it was like right after his birthday. He probably got like 2 No Country for Old Men. He's like, "Oh, Tay will enjoy this," which
Yeah.
I do. He's not wrong.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh, let me send it." But at least he's thinking about me, right?
Yeah, of course.
He didn't have to.
Yeah.
He could tell me to eat dirt, right? So it's a funny way, but like at least someone's thinking about me, and I appreciate that. But I think for a lot of people, they never created that bond. That's why when you see movies, like you never see a big giant group unless it's like American Pie.
Yeah.
The groups are always like 3, maybe 4.
Yeah.
Right? It's always like Seth, Evan, and McLovin.
Yeah.
Like, do they not have a 4th friend? They have like acquaintances, right?
Yeah.
And then I guess for most people, it's like that. They don't have big groups. And then going back to like me, like going to a wedding of my friend who I've known since I was 10, they're like, wow. Like, I don't have friends like that. And I used to think it was like a gender thing. Yeah, I think boys usually stick together more.
It's an immigrant thing.
It's an immigrant thing, yeah.
I'm almost. I almost think that. I think that.
But you guys have Caucasians in your group.
like 1, 2.
No.
Halfies, and they're all halfies.
Rizika's not.
Yeah, Ruzika's not. There's one. And Rachel.
Jessica's not.
I guess Jessica.
Kim.
Kim. I guess.
So all the females are not.
3 of them. Yeah.
Yeah, all the females are not. One's mixed. I'm sure there's other quasis that I don't like, the quasi groups, right?
Yeah. I feel, and I think you're part of this, like how my deeper connections with like my friends got. Well, I was fortunate enough to like live somewhere where, and I had my mom and a sister at house parties.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I remember correctly, like my friends who I have today, like you included, aren't the people who showed up at the parties, but the people who like stayed and helped clean afterwards.
Yeah, there was more bond to it. Yeah.
There was like these are the faces that I remember, like pick up the red cups, pick up the
Yeah.
cans, and like even like that was fun.
Yeah.
You know, like talking while the party's
Yeah.
over. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like sitting at my glass table and like, dude, that was like whatever, like good times. Like those were the people who I saw weren't just like, not that they were using me for like the party
Yeah.
or whatever, but they were like, oh, I like this person and like I'm willing to like
Party
help them
out.
clean.
Yeah.
And like I was always raised to like clean and stuff like that, like with
Yeah.
my mom and like leave something better than when you
Found
got
it, yeah.
there kind of thing. And like if I were to go to a party, like I would help, and if I was staying late enough, I would stay and clean too if I could or
Yeah.
whatever. And I think that's kind of like where the deepness of it comes. And then the other thing is like seeing someone cry is like I think important to
Yeah. No.
developing
Yeah.
a true someone being vulnerable in front of you is a very big bonding thing.
There's something about like I mean, I don't want to call it like trauma porn, but like even like in online content space, anybody who talks about something bad that's happened or trauma or whether people like it or not, does get a lot of views, does get a lot of eyes,
Yep.
right?
Because it's a connecting point.
Yeah.
Everyone has similar traumas.
Yeah, so I have a friend who has like a major trauma, like lawsuit, like major lawsuit. Okay. She was part of it, and then there's like a YouTube video about her talking about it. So since she talked about it, I'm okay to talk about this, right? So that has I think like 7 million views. I don't think they all know her.
Right.
Yeah, right. And then she's brave enough to go talk about it, right? And then going back to like your friends group, I don't know, something about the core kind of works, and I think there's an understanding. Like, it's not like, oh, like Ryan sucks at scheduling and like, but I think there's some, and then I always used to make the joke. I'm like, Ryan, they're only friends with you because you have a boat. He goes, I don't have a boat. I'm like, you have a boat. Do you have access to a boat? He goes, yeah. I'm like, you have a boat. Like, if you take it out, is someone going to get mad at you? No. Then you have access to a boat.
Yeah.
He always says that. He's like, I don't have a plane. I don't have a boat. I'm like, you have access to it? He's like, yeah. Then you have a boat.
Yeah.
You have a plane.
Yeah.
What's funny, when you took Jessica flying, I didn't hear you complain about that.
You had one then.
Yeah, you had one then. Same plane.
Exactly.
You took me over there to drive you over there because you didn't have a car, so you could do maintenance. You didn't say anything then.
I don't think any of our friends for the most part like really took advantage of that.
No,
They liked Ryan. Like, what's not to like about Ryan in general? You know what I mean?
Ryan's great. I don't know flaws of Ryan. Too optimistic, I guess. With certain stuff. I don't know flaws of Ryan. Flaws of Ryan. Here, new topic. Flaws of Ryan Dorman.
What are Ryan's flaws?
Physically, he has bad knees. I know that.
I think
Is that-
maybe he gives.
Is that a HIPAA violation? Me talking about his knee?
Maybe.
I'm not a doctor. All good.
I think he gives too many people the benefit of it.
No, that's true. That's definitely
Yeah.
true.
Like, he would save himself a lot of mental space if he just like cut out the shit instead of like fixing the shit.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to fix everything. You don't need to be a fixer.
And then he fixes things that he don't really need to fix.
You don't need to fix it. Just cut it. It's just cut it.
So like him and I had that talk. Like I'm the fixer for my family, as you are sometimes, right?
No, hell no. I'm not.
That was a joke,
I am.
but I am,
I'm the get fixed.
right? I am. So I don't mind that, but and then I'm related to them, right? At the end of the day, like I need them to kind of benefit and kind of keep them on even playing bars, right? Rather than just, what am I supposed to do? Throw bread at them and just laugh at them, right?
Exactly.
But sometimes it's like, especially like friend of a friend, it's like you don't need to help a friend of a friend. Like give him guidance, give him the time. I think people deserve time, but
I even think that I've learned, or I'm developing slowly. Like, I don't want to call it prayer, but like having a positive mental affirmation for someone is also plenty.
oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, there are plenty of times where I see people who I haven't talked to on Instagram for like years, like since high school, and maybe they're either going through something like really nice or something like really bad, and I feel connected to it, and I want to reach out, but I don't want to like reach out like and think that there's some ulterior motive.
Like you need your back scratched too, kind of deal.
Yeah. Like, I just want to tell you, like, oh, I'm so happy to see that your family's growing, or that you're married, or I'm really sorry that this happened to you. And I don't even need them to respond. And that's like why sometimes I don't want to say something, because I don't want to put pressure on them to like
Respond and have
you
that.
know?
Yeah,
And like, it's not like, and I'm sure a bunch of other people are doing what I'm doing and thinking the same thing.
yeah.
And so I just like learned to like relax and be like, I can just say like a quick little like mental prayer for them, and it's like, I'm good. My conscience is good. Like,
Yeah.
Like I think about my friends, you included. I have like ADD when it comes to like thinking about other people, but I don't talk to them because I'm always thinking about them.
No, I
and,
get
like,
you.
And like wishing the best. Like, I have like, the Dunbar number. Like before I go to bed, like I wonder what this person did today.
Yeah.
What this doing today, and I hope everything's good. And like, quick split seconds of like, I hope everyone in my Dunbar number is good. And I think that's how I kind of get away with
Do you have random callbacks?
callbacks, as in
Meaning, like, let's say you used to, I don't know, you used to hang out with Jane Doe when you're like 20, and then it's not like you had a falling apart. Things just drifted away. You ever had like random callbacks of people?
like they'll come back into my life.
I mean, that's a literal comeback, right? Mentally.
Mental? Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, literally, like from kindergarten.
Yeah.
Dude. Like,
I used to go. I mean, you could relate to this, and you'll laugh. I used to be like, it's a Pisces thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I used to be like, it's a Pisces thing. I'm friends with Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson's brother. He came up to me and then he said something. He's like, "Hey, I'm sorry about doing this."
Trevor?
Yeah, Trevor's. Oh, you know Trevor. So Trevor.
They're Mount Avenue kids.
This is the doxing episode, everybody. So I mean, it's not bad. He's
I'm trying to get more views.
yeah. So at the wedding, at Michael Johnson's wedding, we were hanging out and friends with their family and sister and everybody, right? So Trevor came up to me. He's like, "Hey, I'm sorry because he said something to me like in the past," and I'm like, "Don't worry, it's a Pisces thing." So he's like, "Oh, you get it?" I'm like, "I mean, yeah, I live it, right?"
Yeah.
But yeah,
I live in my feels.
two things. One is a little bit emotional,
Sure.
so I'll start that first, and then the second one's kind of like, "What the fuck?" So
go.
which one would you like first?
Let's start with the what the fuck and lead to the emotions.
What the fuck is I date a lot, but that's not the what the fuck. And I travel a lot, right? I travel a lot more than I date. There are a lot of people that I meet will give me they'll like ask me for my contact info and I'll ask for their contact info, right?
Yeah.
And then they'll like, not even like ghost me. Like this girl I met in Japan, really cute British girl, half Japanese, half white. And then she added me on Instagram. And then she removed me as a follower. And then I'm like, what the fuck?
She added you and then removed you before contact or after contact?
After contact. Like, I met her in person. I met her in person.
After online contact. Like, did you?
I
she
liked-
add you, messaged it, you liked something, and then she unfollowed you.
Yeah. And then removed me as a follower.
Does
And then I didn't say anything crude. I didn't say anything like,
is she have like those like accounts where they have a lot of followers and not a lot of following?
no. I thought about that ratio too.
Like that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Ratio.
The 5-to-1 or like 10-to-1.
whatever it
Yeah.
is, yeah.
They need to keep their following low. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. But she also removed me as a follower, so she still needs me as a followee, right? Like,
Yeah. Oh, so she.
yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what'd I say? I didn't say anything.
Yeah. That is kind of what the fuck. I don't have an answer. There are times where I feel like people have like unremoved me, and then there's also times where I feel like I accidentally unremoved someone. Like
My
Click
my
by accident?
Instagram's all jacked up, so it does its own thing. Like,
I feel like it's doing. Sometimes I feel like it's
my-
doing its own
mine's.
thing.
I'm surprised it hasn't like if I don't because I don't talk to you on Instagram too much, right? Like we text, I send you like
I think I get a lot.
we're
of
on
those.
we're on Discord now, right?
I don't get Michael Chico's like my only Instagram because he refuses to go to TikTok. So it's like
That's your.
the only person sending me any sort of like Instagram shit is like Chico.
I feel like my friends are too old at TikTok.
Chico feels like the too old.
Yeah.
I think it's better. It's better than Instagram. I think
TikTok.
for content.
I think it.
But not for promotion.
I think TikTok.
Maybe actually for promotion. I don't know.
Quick nippets on TikTok. I think it like followed. It figured me out way too quick.
Too quick.
Too quick, and that was scary to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, I'm only in. I think I was in 3 minutes. This guy likes dogs, people jumping off things,
Yeah.
travel,
Yep.
and attractive women. I'm like, no,
Sports. Yep.
you know me better than my family does. Get away from me. And then going back to the thing, and then another girl, she asked me on a I gotta get the dates right. She asked me on a Thursday, "What are you doing Saturday?"
Okay.
And I said, I'm going to a write-a-thon, which is true. I went to a write-a-thon, and then I'm free after. So initially, she's like, we should meet 7 to 8. So she wrote me this long
7 to 8.
7, 8-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, 7, 8-ish.
Okay.
And then this is like Thursday, and I think Friday, like she read. Oh, on Friday she said that, and then I wrote this text like, "Oh, just give me a call when you're done with work," right?
Uh huh.
Then she wrote me a long, lengthy text of like, it seems that you want to talk about it, and then it's like, I don't think our communication plans work out. I hope you have a good time. And then she removed me on Instagram, and then she, I don't know if she blocked me on the phone, but I'm like,
I can see it already.
I'm like, and then I don't get ghosted.
Let me guess. Like without looking at it,
Yeah,
the text. If I were even to read it,
yeah.
are her text bubbles bigger or are your
Oh,
text
hers.
bubbles? That's why. Guess why?
Yeah.
Because your communication response of like short, probably like. Did you tell her?
It was very short. It's like,
And like,
I'll
was
call
she
you.
writing this and you're writing?
Yeah.
This? That's why. Like, that's why I can't get along with someone. I probably wouldn't have been able to been with that person either because I'm not a texter.
Yeah.
I can't put my shit in text and anticipate emotional responses and all that stuff. Like, I don't want to. It's just too much. I need to be like, I'll meet you in person. I'll talk to you in person. We'll talk about everything we need to talk about in person. That looked like a texter. I don't think you're like you are a texter, but I think you'd rather be in person.
Or like leave a voice message. But like I talk in, like no one in the world will like look at me and be like, I don't think you talk enough. The people who know me,
Yeah.
maybe even strangers. But so like I'm like, all right. But it's, to me it's like,
It's the texting.
and then I'm like,
It's a whole different type of thing.
I dodged a bullet, and then
Yeah.
I responded. I'm like, okay, so you're okay. And then she said something like, oh, I'm really tired from work, but I don't want to talk. And that was like part of the text. I can read it to you. But I'm like, so Saturday you're working, because she works for a firm. She's like, Saturday you were working, but you want to meet up, but now you don't want to talk on the phone after your work on Friday. Like, and I'm like, but it's okay. Like,
Yeah.
and then
But those people need to talk all the time.
I don't get it. And then going back to half British girl, very attractive, by the way. If you're listening to this, woman,
Come back.
you don't have to come back. And then she even said, oh, we should meet in London, because I told her I'm going to Europe in summer. And I'm like, why would you say that?
Because they say, like I was saying earlier, people say things that they think you want to hear, and there's not like the follow up. And you can disappear.
I haven't heard this in a while because I'm older, but I used to get a lot more because I think women are settling down, or they just don't care, or they're jaded.
Yeah.
But I think women used to say things like, I don't want to like dump him because it's mean. And I'm like, it's a lot more mean leading him on and dumping him later. You want to meet, you're at a 40, cut him off at 45, rather than you give him some chance. He hopes this world of 79 and 90, and then you want to like crush his soul. Like, what kind of subconscious power play is that?
Yeah.
Right? And then, and some people are going to listen to this and be like, oh, it's sexist. It's not sexist. It's just objectively stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys and girls, or men and women, are on completely different pages today. It's gotten worse. I don't know, like, what it is. I mean, I'm sure I could name a bunch of things, but the communication thing is the main source of the problem.
Fucking crazy.
The availability, I don't like the feeling that I'm available to everyone on my phone. Like, I never lived in the days, but before the phone even existed, you wake up and, like, the people who are around you talk to you, or you got a letter in the mail.
We were the age, I always talk about this, like, you started dating young, I know this.
Yes.
You had to call a home.
Yes, and ask the parents to speak to the.
You have to call. You have to call Karen Longpree and be like, "Hey,
Can I speak
hey,
to
Rod."
Yeah, exactly.
Before, and then they got their cell phone, right? It's like, oh yeah.
And you didn't know if the brother was on the line.
On the line, listening, yeah.
Like saying something like.
Yeah.
Something in the back.
Someone with 3 brothers too, right? Yeah.
exactly.
And that carried on to like people got there. And then I remember my first cell phone, like I had minute limit.
Yeah, 20 text
Had limit,
off,
like 5 cents or something.
5 cents.
Yeah.
Free night and weekends was a thing.
My cousin and my niece watched the entire season of Netflix show on their phone.
Yeah, and they probably got charged like $1 million.
No, we have free data. Don't say that. Don't say that, sir.
Yeah,
Unofficial
now-
sponsor of the show, T-Mobile, Magenta plan. Get on it. Do you have the Magenta military?
Yes.
Good. Yeah.
I've had T-Mobile, the military thing, for like 12 years.
It is excellent.
I used to hate T-Mobile, and then I got it. And I was like, I love it.
I only hated T-Mobile because I lived in downtown LA for a while, and then they didn't.
No service.
Yeah, they didn't cover it. Like it wasn't covered. Like even if you were a T-Mobile cell phone user,
Yep.
you couldn't call.
Yep.
So they're like, you gotta get this like roaming thing. I'm like, what is this?
It was Verizon and Singular AT&T.
Yeah, just
and then
jagged
T-Mobile
ass
was the-
shit. And then
But they had the sidekicks, and you were cool if you had a sidekick.
Oh, hey, I'm having tears in my eyes thinking about that. And then, yeah, so that's a problem. And then I feel bad. I mean, this next conversation, not the sad part yet, or the emotional one, but this next conversation, I hear a lot. I mean, obviously, I see a lot on YouTube, but I even hear a lot. Young men aren't dating; they're not going out, and like I don't online date, but I heard online dating's getting killed, and then I even heard from somebody who worked at Bumble. They said girls get matches all the time,
Yep.
but guys, it's the top guys kind of just wrecking
The
crew.
1% kill, yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, realistically, it's like 10% they'll like talk, and like girls would talk to them, but like they're talking to like multiple women. So they
Yeah.
kind of have their picking,
of litter.
they're choosing of the pickings. And then rest of the 90%, they said probably like 40 of that 90. So like 35% of the whole group, they're getting matches, but it's like sometimes they mean it's very passive. And then they'll kind of lose interest.
Yep.
And then the other, like the rest, so which is like 65%, they're not getting matches at all.
Yep.
So yeah, and then I could talk about like guys could take better pictures. They could actually have a fucking bio, say more than hey.
Yeah.
But like, not tooting my own horn, not giving you more credit. I think we're okay because I think we're not only sociable, like we approach.
Yes.
Like dating or not, we're gonna approach, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like not approach. And then
I might not approach.
I might not approach, but I will approach if I need to, right? So it's not like ooh, like shaking and like. But I noticed a lot of guys like that. I remember when I was in the army. Not gonna give out his name. We'll talk about it after we record. We had a guy. So obviously, as you know, I used to drink quite a bit. So I used to go to a bar. So you know, like in the army, you go in groups, right? So as soon as I go to a bar, like I go talk to girls. And then he used to ask me, like, how do you do that? But when he asked me that, I'm like, I don't think about it.
Right.
I don't go like, soon as I get in there. I think because I've done it before and it's natural to me.
You learn rejection.
Yeah. And then
How to deal with it, how to cope.
to me, like, if I'm going to do it, it's better that like I approach them right away rather than like I'm staring at them or I'm like thinking about it. Then I'm going to overthink or I'm going to be drunk.
Yeah.
It's easy. And then it's not like, hey, she's going to talk to me and not sleep with me. I'm going to go, strangle somebody. Like, it's fine.
Right.
It's fine. Let me dodge the bullet earlier rather than Heartbreak Hotel like a week later, right?
Exactly. It is, in a weird way, a numbers game.
It is an interesting, because you have to approach. It's like the Wayne Gretzky quote by Michael Scott, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to take your shots.
Yeah.
And then he was, I think, I hope he's much better now, but he couldn't make eye contact. Like he would just, do you know the military bar pose? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He sits like this.
Yep.
And he would just kind of like
Lock in.
and then just drink beer.
Possibly autistic.
No, I thought about that too, but it wouldn't be a surprise. But yeah, and then there were other guys like we had a guy who was gay, but he was like covering it. But we're like, come on. So his last thing, he bicycled from Alaska to Virginia, not a motorcycle, bicycle, like chains and pedals, from Alaska to Virginia. And then one of the last things he's like, he came out and and I think our first sergeant like pat him in the back or something. We're like, we knew it. That's like you telling us like, oh, by the way, my last name starts with an R. We're like,
His coming out bike ride.
yeah, we're like, it wasn't even dramatic. Like, by the way, I'm gay. And like, you rode away. That'd be like, cool ass shit. Like, he's like, yeah, like you probably would have guessed. I'm like,
Yeah, we knew.
I wanted to say that, but I think my sergeant grabbed me. He's like, shut the fuck up.
I feel like even just saying that is almost endearing. Like you know the person so well, and I've known this whole time, and it didn't bother us.
My sergeant passed away, but he actually told me why he stopped me, because he's like, if you said something and somebody else said a joke, it'll just crash. So shut the fuck up.
Someone else.
So if I said we know, and then somebody goes like
I get it.
So that's why he's like he didn't want to instigate.
Yeah.
So he told me that later, because he doesn't stop me from saying something on first sergeant. So
that feels part of the old don't ask, don't tell. Like,
but you can't tell.
but
you can't tell. Yeah. We had gay guys, and my first unit had openly gay guys. A Michael unit had a gay guy, and they were married or they were living together. And they're open about it. That's why I always tell my friend. He's like, "Is don't ask, don't tell," like a thing, and I'm like, they still don't ask, but you can tell.
Yeah,
You could
yeah.
you could tell as many people as you want to.
I'm actually surprised. I can't even think of anyone.
Well, you went to a nice country club called the Air Force.
Yeah, we did.
I did not. I trained in a joint base for my AIT, and I would look over and be like, "God damn it!"
Where was AIT? Fort Leonard Wood?
Yeah.
That was joint base?
My chemical school's joint.
Oh.
So, and then my barracks compound was super joint. It had everything.
Nice.
Coast Guard.
I didn't know Air Force went there.
Me. And then the Air Force looked like the summer camp I should have joined. Like they're skateboarding and throwing frisbees around. They're having barbecues every Saturday and Sunday. They're like, John, go long. I'm like, and then we're like mowing lawns. I'm like, God.
Mop and rain.
I'm like, what the fuck? Mop and rain is a big army. Our big thing in Fort Leonard Wood was shuka shuka, which was you have to fill up a canteen every night and chug it before you go to bed, like in formation.
To hydrate?
Yeah. But it was every night you have to bring out a full canteen. And then one sergeant, he was like an E7, real cool guy, Sergeant Powers, Sergeant First Class. He'd be like, no shuka shuka. So you have to shake. And if you heard like, you have to drink that and then fill it up again and drink another one. So you have to shake it till like you don't hear anything. And he'll grab a random person's like, no sugar sugar. I'm like, no sugar sugar, sir. And then we had to drink it. And then our PG, who's like this jack guy now in New York, he's like a Knicks fan. He's shout out to Mr. Cortez. He was like the barracks manager, right? You know, they gave me that. And then he's always trying to put people together in formation. People are fucking around. I'm like, dude, this is like, I felt like prisoners on probation. And then we look over
That's
at
what basic was like.
and we look at it, like the Air Force are like, oh, throw a frisbee. Oh.
We had it nice.
And they're like, Saturday? Work on a Saturday? I'm like, what the fuck did I say to you?
We had it pretty good.
Yeah.
It's gotten even worse now, though.
AIT, and then they, did I ever tell you my field exercise story? We went to a field exercise. I'm in a tent with like 9 dudes. And obviously it smelled pleasant in there. I had to go, I don't know, I have to go with my captain or my XO, take a Humvee somewhere to talk to some Air Force support. They're staying at a Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, are they here like as a base camp? No, this is where they're staying. And the conference room is their base camp.
Yeah.
I go, please don't tell me that's true.
Dead true.
And then an Air Force guy comes out like in a robe. I'm like, oh, kill me.
Dead true.
But I didn't have a choice. Air Force don't like foreigners.
I was gonna ask you joined something like Navi? What was it?
Mavney, yeah.
Mavney.
Mavney.
It doesn't exist anymore.
They got rid of it, yeah.
Was it only in the army?
They had some for Navy, but it was a very brief window.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the most golden programs that's ever existed.
Yeah, so it does come, like it's a 70s program that came back in the 2000s. So I kind of talked about that in my Instagram story. Like I'm very fortunate that even worked out because my first run around on Mavney, I didn't even get it. They're like, we have too many Koreans. That's basically what they said.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh?
Quota met.
Yeah, it's a quota met. So I went back to school, and when the semester ended, like December 14th, I remember my recruiter called me December 16th. They're like, hey, we moved to Burbank. We're not in Eagle Rock anymore, but are you still interested in joining? I'm like, yeah. So I came down like to the office, and they're like, you can't be a translator anymore. You can't be a language guy, but we have other jobs, but you could still get your citizenship. So I said, okay. And then I signed the initial early entry. And then, so I was part of the old maps going to new maps in LA. So I went to the old shitty ass maps where like, ceilings are coming off. And then,
The new one's nice.
and then when I signed my actual contract to like leave, I was in the new one, kind of close to LAX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no,
And
it's
also
nice.
going to, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, we need something like that back. I think that's our immigration solution in some form.
Yeah.
I think path to citizenship is kind of what we need to work on more than deportation. I think public service.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be expanded outside of the military. I think there needs to be a public service where I think we nationalize teachers.
Yeah.
And if they do 4 years or 8 years of service, they get similar benefits to like what we got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? nationalistic pride kind of comes, patriotism kind of comes back, proper patriotism, not
Yeah.
like I hate the enemy, more like I love my country.
Yeah, and then going. I mean, keep going.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's-
Because I mean,
know
going
we
back
have
to
similar political views.
and then going back to no, I'm a communist.
Yeah, true. Central communist.
I think one of my friends heard my podcast and be like, "Your co-host is like super left." I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
he's very progressive," and they're like, "He's like a communist." I'm
yeah,
like,
he would even say he's borderline communist. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. He's more just social. He would do really well in Norway,
Yes.
like very well.
Yes.
Like he'll fit in.
Yep.
He'd be like, "This is great."
This is where I'm meant to be.
Yeah, and then Tiffany would be like, "You're paying what in taxes?"
Yeah.
And he'd be like, "Well, but look what we get.
Yeah, everyone gets healthcare.
Everybody get. Oh, look at it. Safe. Yeah, sandwiches are $46, but look, we don't. You could go to the hospital. You have
We're happy.
visa free. We're not in the EU, but we're not in the Schengen."
We're happy.
And then, she'd kill herself there. She hates the cold.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, back to the mapping and stuff. I used to have this thought people needs to like everybody needs like a month of retail work, so
A month.
at least because preferably longer because
Customer service.
I think people will be a little bit better about customer service,
Yeah.
and I think customer service kind of comes down to like lack of clear communication.
Yes.
Because I always have to remind people, I'm like, I'm not mad at the service agent. I'm kind of mad at my situation.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not mad at T-Mobile. I'm just
Right.
mad, like, why did I get charged $46 more this month? I want an explanation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I said this to my PT people. I've been doing this since I was 11 because my parents don't speak English.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't take 11-year-olds seriously when you're calling Charter Communication Cable to get a billing update.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I need to figure out how to get my in. So I always small talk with the customer service resident. I let them know what's going on with me, and I make little jokes. And then I try to figure out what do they not like about their company really quick. So how do they benefit me? And then like I don't brown nose,
Yeah.
but I do have to remind myself, like even when I get upset, I'm like, like I'm not mad at you. Like I'm really mad at the situation because like I'm sure they hear it all the time. I'm sure they get blasted on their email for their stupid low pay, probably overseas job, right? So
Soon to be AI.
soon to be AI. That's probably not gonna be that helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, every time I look at AI, so it's gonna be like FAQ just live.
Yeah. Live FAQ.
And then you're just gonna give me to a live agent anyway. They're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna destroy my computer. Yeah. So like, it's like this lack of communication, going back to relationship, going back to friends, going back to the thing, and then going back to customer service. So it's like it's kind of kooky. Let me ask you this before I get. Let me say the sad part, which has to do with like, remember I called you. Do you have like recalls of like people you don't really talk to, right?
Yeah.
So last week. I don't even know what to call her anymore because I don't know if we're friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like we didn't have a falling out, but
Were you friends at one point?
oh yeah, we were great
What
friends
was the
at one point.
deepest your relationship was at one point? Just great friends.
Great friends.
Okay.
And then I had a crush on her. But yeah, but
Okay.
she like my late teenage to my early 20s would be much different without her.
Okay.
Yeah, like there was a time I probably spent every weekend with her.
Okay.
Yeah, so she just
While was she ever in a relationship while you were friends?
right afterwards.
After.
And then that's probably why.
Okay.
Yeah, but she just had she passed away giving birth.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then I think I was shocked because obviously it's sudden.
Damn.
Obviously it's like like even when you have like a stillborn child or like the baby doesn't make it, there's that notion of even if it wasn't me, like somebody was expecting something for a long time. Babies aren't created like it's not the
Right.
movie Aliens. It
Right.
doesn't come in. It doesn't happen in
It's
the
not
next
spawn.
20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So it's a long thing. You have like future planning and like, oh, how are we gonna raise the baby? Like, what are we gonna name it? Right, all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and then like that hope's just like taken away in like an instant. So the baby's fine. The last time I checked, which is good, and then even for like the father, which I don't know too well, who I don't know too well, but he's in this like think about that turmoil just on paper, right? Like your wife died, but your
Widow.
son's
Yeah.
born. Like
Yeah.
so.
She was married.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second kid.
Okay.
So it was shocking death. So it was a surprise. And then the fact that even like people were dying of childbirth, like, or like during childbirth now, I understand it's a very complicated thing still.
Yeah.
But the fact that that's happening, that was kind of hard. And the third thing, like I was thinking about, like I kind of reconnected with people I haven't talked to in a while, but it it's like somebody who shaped my life in such a mostly positive way. Like
Meaningful.
yeah, like my entire like
Formative years. Your frontal
lobe years will
Yeah.
be completely different.
Yeah.
It's like my foundation of my 20s were like built on that. And then it probably been more if I didn't join the army.
Yeah.
Because I would have been around.
Yeah.
So, and then through her, I met other people, and then we were always like, they were very nice, so we were always at their house and stuff. So, I mean, that, like, it didn't screw me up like my dog passing. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
took me off to
Of course.
new universes, but
Yeah.
it was a weird, shocking thing. So, I think the memory doesn't. I think people think the memories work in like movie strips, right? It's like a DVD, like you play it, but kind of comes and goes. Like when you smell something, you remember stuff. Like
Yeah.
like when I play songs on the guitar, sometimes I think of random things. Like I was in Alaska eating a chicken pot pie,
Your all senses trigger memories.
and then it's weird, right? Sometimes some you do control, some's completely out of your control.
Yeah.
So I do wonder, like the people who come like in and out of your life, like in your mind. Physically, yeah. Situationally, like people come in, people come out. But like in your mind or online, people kind of message you randomly, right?
Yeah.
But like when the memory happens, I'm sure the other person made an impact, whether it's positive or negative. So going back to the friend circle thing, now it's called a callback, sir.
Yes.
In this
Trump
industry.
doesn't love it.
It's called a callback.
Yeah.
I think good friends, you get that natural callback of like they made an impact.
Yes.
So I think that kind of makes the bond.
Yes.
Whether it's like you know, like obviously I had bonds with like my ex-girlfriends, but obviously we broke up for a reason.
Yeah.
And then probably the same for you. So I think somewhere a lot of people lack that, not because they're like mentally or emotionally lacking stuff. I think it's just they never did it. They never put themselves in that situation to be in that build stage, I guess. I don't know, vulnerable stage, bond stage.
That vulnerability, yeah. So I've had this thought, same thought process that you've had, and I've had this conversation with Ryan like a couple days ago. Ryan and I have like been friends for such a long time, and even like you, I can probably actually put this in the same thing. I don't remember everything we've done together.
Yeah, we gotta like sit and like.
But I remember every time I hang out how I feel when I'm with you.
Oh, that's nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and if I think about you, I'm not thinking about the things we did.
Yeah.
But the things that I feel, like, and because there's like when you say names, like if you name like start listing off my friends, I'll feel something when you're saying that name.
Yeah.
And that's I think what's important is generating those feelings in the moment when you're with the person.
Like Justin Farziki.
Yeah, exactly. Like Justin Farziki. Like yeah, exactly. Like if a name like makes you not feel good, it's not good. But like there's a way to fix that when you're with that person. Like when you're with that person, make that feel good. You know, like ask them how they're feeling. Yeah. Let them ask you how you're feeling. Feel like going back to the I think memories. People think memories are mental.
Yeah.
I think it's like there's a. You heard of the gut brain?
Yeah, the gut brain. Yeah.
I think it like embeds itself in the body, and so when you get a full memory trigger, your literal have a anatomic response to it, where like I feel good. Like even like my exes, like I'll think about like the good stuff, and it feels good. And when I call people like my buddy Drew from the military, I haven't talked to in a long time, but every time we do talk, we hit levels where like you feel something. And so when I call him back, I feel those things that we felt last time, and it's just positive. And people need to put more of like their emotions into these moments so that their memories of them, what they think are their memories of them, stay positive and are nurtured.
I know that, you know, like I'll give you the contrast example. I burned bridges in my life. And then some purposely.
Yep, I learned to do that more recently now.
Yeah, and then now when I do it in more respectful manner. Like I'm not cussing people out. I'm like, you know, like
I'll ghost.
Yeah,
I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I'll ghost.
I don't know the last person I ghosted. It's very rare that I ghost people, but because I'm pretty good about like you're dumb.
And I want to do that.
Yeah.
I really want to tell people. Like I did have to tell
somebody.
You know, I'll even dox a little. One of my exes kind of came back into my life for a minute.
Yeah.
took it too far, crossed boundaries that I didn't want. Like I told her, like, yo, I just want my life is about peace.
Yeah.
Like, I just want peace. Like don't make this not peaceful. I was getting blown up in texts about like blaming me for her problems. Like I was like, I don't even know you.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the shit. Like I can't do it. That's a bridge I'll fucking cut, and I'll cuss you out and be like, I don't. People know me as the nice guy. I've always been told like, you're such a nice guy,
Yeah.
Matt. Such a nice guy, Matt. The nicest guy you'll ever fucking meet. There's a point where I hate that because I think people take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And I will. It's gotten to the point where I'll fucking verbally tear your ass up if I feel that you're taking advantage of me. Like I won't fight you.
Yeah.
I might fight you. There's even points where I might fight you. I just hate my niceness being taken advantage of. I fucking hate
There is something about because you feel so like exploited.
it. Oh yeah.
It's not even about distrust. Like like you could lie to me. And it's
And like lying to me about being a bad person.
Yeah.
Like everyone tells me I'm a nice guy. I know I'm a nice guy because I've been practicing a nice guy. So when my ex is telling me you're the worst person I've ever met and like literally like belittling me as like a
Yeah.
man and like human, I was like, wait, you're the piece of shit. Like you're like
there's
like you're trying to hurt me. Like,
some projections.
Yeah.
Sometimes go.
so why do I have to
Yeah.
be like nice back? Like, oh, you're just drunk, or it's like you're just going through a hard time. Like that would have been like the old me. Like
Yeah.
like what do you call it? Like
The Ryan Dorman, Martin Luther King way.
what's the word though? Like disarm.
You disarm, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm disarming the thing. But now I'm just like, no, fuck you. Like,
Yeah.
like, you're a bitch. Like fuck off. Like
Yeah.
Like I don't fucking ever talk to me again. I'm never ever fucking talking to you again. I don't care anymore.
This is a weird thing. So I've known you for like decades now, right? So I remember before we were friends, I forgot who you're dating, but Lewis and I are like, oh, he's dating that chick, and then Lewis was like, oh, she's pretty hot.
AL. Yeah.
It might be AL or
Yeah.
maybe one before that or
I'm
after
pretty
that.
sure it was.
And then I'm like, what do you think he's got going on? And then we were both like at the same time, like probably packing some heat. And then we just like,
It helps.
and then we I don't think we were friends. I think I knew you. I don't think we were friends then. I think I knew
I don't
of
think I
you.
knew until I hit JV football.
Yeah, I think I knew of you.
Of you, I knew of you
Yeah,
until I hit JV.
because I mean your groups
Yeah.
together, right? So I knew Imran for a while because I'm friends with his sister.
Yeah.
That's why I've seen like chubby Imran, teenage Imran, buff Imran, USC Imran,
Yep. The whole gamut.
accountant Imran, Netflix Imran,
Yeah.
different girlfriend. So, but like his head's the same.
Yeah.
So it looks like his just body's aging.
Yeah.
But like going back to like siblings, like friend siblings or siblings friends, or it's weird because like I think that like I would say now I'm probably closer to Doug Drugan than Dan Drugan.
Okay.
Not really something I thought about like in my youth, right?
Yeah.
I probably just talked to him more,
Yeah.
and then probably like lifestyle just probably affords like because Dan's probably busy with work and being
Yeah.
a husband.
Yeah.
So things like that's different. Like obviously hang out with both Chicos. So like I don't know, life has like weird. Like I think I used to see life as like path, but I feel like we're like flying through, and it's like 3-dimensional,
Yeah.
and it's like sometimes 4-dimensional.
I
Like
feel it. I've been feeling cyclical. I've been feeling
in a good way or bad way.
both.
Okay.
Like good patterns repeat and bad patterns repeat, but I have the ability to break both
Yeah.
and like maintain the good ones and bad ones. But I'll see like it just feels like things are happening at the same time all the time. Like friends come and go.
Yeah.
Like I'm at a high with like either all my friends or I'm at a low with all my friends or like, and it's also not just me. It feels like I don't know if I feel connected. Like I don't know. Everyone's struggling. I think with like
Yeah. Everybody has. Yeah.
it's not just like, oh, it's not just me. I'm not the victim in this whole fucking
Mm-hmm.
thing. Like I'm the one who needs to figure out for myself, and everyone else has got it figured out. No, everyone else is on the same fucking boat.
Mhm.
So it ends up being like the only solution is like I just gotta do what I can and like whatever makes me fucking happy. And if they can't be happy, I can't fucking help them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just
It's weird because like I think maybe it's a Pisces thing. Like you
It is a
want you
Pisces
want to
thing.
help. You want to help,
yeah,
especially if you know you could help.
yep,
Somebody need a translation of Russian. I'm not helping.
yeah,
I'd be like spasiba.
Mm-hmm.
Just walk away. But like I know I step like when I see Korean, especially it must be like a mom thing. When I see a Korean woman who's struggling to speak English and I know
Yep.
she's Korean,
Yep.
I'm jumping in.
yep.
I'm dropping.
Spanish speaking,
Yeah,
yep,
I'm jumping in. Especially if it's easy. I'm not a lawyer, but
Moms, I mean, like even like with like moms for me, like growing up mostly like with like my mom,
Yeah.
with me, and like I have an appreciation for like independent women
Yeah.
or whatever. And like I was at the park the other day, and I saw a woman like trying to hold 2 kids in her hand while balancing like 24 cupcakes. And I just like I literally like just sprinted up to her. And I was like, "Can I carry that for you?"
Yeah.
And she was so like grateful. It's just I don't know. It's just people just raised it.
It is kind of interesting too. Like, but like, yeah, if I'm next to Ryan and he's holding a bunch of stuff, I'd be like, "You want me to take something,
Yeah.
right?" But I mean, this is a guy who doesn't even me, expert mover, doesn't want my help.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could get that shit done in 2 hours flat.
Yep.
And he's like, I know you can. It just let me do me. I'm like, I don't know what your wife is doing to you in your garage right now, but
But I also like the independence too.
I
So
do-
I understand like not asking.
there is that
Not asking can trigger.
there is that liberty. It's like a liberty you can't compare to anybody else. Like, I used to not fear, but like when I used to go to the movies by myself, I used to be like, oh, this is kind of odd. I don't know why I thought
First
that.
thing I did was, but
Yeah, but after one, you're
after
like,
one, yeah,
this is
I like it.
It's like very,
Wait.
it's super convenient actually. Yeah,
It's better.
yeah, it's actually much easier.
Yeah.
I have like 5 people I go to the movies with. Maybe you could be 6.
I'm not a movie guy.
Yeah, I know that. That's why you're like that's why. And then my movie people aren't like in it. Like 5 of them, 2 of them aren't even in LA. So 3 of them, Michael Johnson being one of them. It's easy. Like they know what I like. I know what I like. And now I'm not trying to talk shit about my aunt, but when I go to like the movies with my aunt, she knows I go to a lot of movies.
Yeah.
She knows I get free screenings. So she should know. Oh, I used to work at a movie. She should kind of know, like, oh, Tay kind of knows his movie theater going. When we go, she's like, are you going to get tickets? Which is a fair question. She could get it. I could get it. It's probably easier that I get it. Or I'm like, I have free tickets from all these points. And then the second thing, she'll always do this. And then I'm like, why do you always do this? We'll go in the lobby. She'll stop walking and look at the concession stand and go, do you want popcorn? I'm like, no, I'm okay. She's like, should I get popcorn? I'm like, do you want popcorn? She's like,
Oh, that's women.
no. No, but her sister, my mom's not like that. My mom was like,
Decisive.
she's very. My brother-in-law and my mom get along really well. But my brother-in-law explained it in a very good third-party way before they got married, which was, your mom's kind of like, not exactly, but she's kind of like Joseph Stalin communism. And I'm like an iron fist. He's like, yeah. So you know how like stubborn people, there's
Yep.
their way or the
Highway. Yep.
there's no highway for her. It's just her way. And I go, what about plan B? She's like, what are you talking about? The other plan. She's like, what? Speak Korean or English? I'm speaking Korean. She'd be like, oh, stop. We're just doing it this way. I'm like, what? And then if she changes her mind, she'll never be like, you're right. She'll be like, well, I did some research. I'll be like, oh, God.
They corrected themselves.
Perfect example. When I took her to Europe, we're coming back, and I told her, hey, the LAX Uber situation's not that great. And my mom hates like luggaging her 2 suitcases around from all the.
Fly away, by the way. I know you already probably know.
Yeah, she's like, she does. So she doesn't want to go to the Uber. I'm like, it's gonna be a little bit difficult. Maybe we should call her like a driver.
Yeah.
She's like, it's fine. We'll just Uber. It'll be okay. So it's an 11-hour flight back, right? Halfway through the flight, we're not even sitting next to each other. She comes up to me, which is rare. She's like, hey, I did some research. And she could be like, yeah, you're right. LAX Uber seems a little messy. Nope. She's like, I did some research and I called a driver, so don't worry. I'm like, you know, I'm like, I want to be like, you know, I fucking told you this before we went.
But you don't take that as you're right?
I take it as I'm right, but she'll never say it.
Does she need to?
No, not her.
You feel a way that she does.
My sister should.
You think your sister should? Like,
My
you
sister
need-
should, because my sister always. My mom ignores the idea, because she's Stalin or Hitler.
Yeah.
Sometimes Hitler, sometimes Stalin. My sister's leaning more Hitler nowadays, but not with me. I'm like Stalin to her. So she's like trying to make amends, but not really.
Yeah.
I guess I'm like Churchill, but my sister will always say the idea is wrong, and then like later realize it's probably a better idea.
Yeah.
Then she should be like, I'm sorry for doubting the idea.
My bad, you're right.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
That's it. And then nowadays she just doesn't admit to the question, doesn't agree to the question. So she's neutral in her eyes. And I'm like, saying nothing doesn't mean you're neutral.
I think that all comes from. This is probably not true, but I think
Yeah.
it comes from Trump. The never take an L. Deny. You're never wrong.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't be proven wrong if you don't say you're wrong.
But I feel like other people do it. He's just been doing it in public, and
he's never.
oh, he said this.
Never taken.
I mean, this is a long time.
Zero.
He said this really interesting thing. There's a very attractive CNN reporter. I forgot her name. I think Trump kind of likes her. He usually hates. She took Jim Acosta's old job because he hated Jim Acosta. Jim Acosta was the guy. He's like, CNN, fake news, get out of here, right? Don't ask Jim, we're done, right?
Yeah.
That show thing.
Uh-huh.
And his President Trump 1.0. So the new lady, I forgot her name. It's like Crystalline, or she's from the South. Very beautiful lady. She asked him a question. He said something, and she's like, well, last week you said like something completely different. And then he said, oh, did I say that? And I'm like, that is fucking genius.
Yeah.
Because you know he didn't forget.
Yeah, of course he didn't forget.
Like,
He's a piece of shit.
so it's like,
Piece of shit to me.
yeah. With that being said, any other final notes, sir?
Let's see. We hit the 2-hour mark. Pretty good. I thoroughly enjoyed this. We should figure out how to segue this into like
The other people?
the other people. Do this again sometime. Come back to sports. But yeah, this was real fun.
You know who I want as a guest out of your, well, they're like quasi friends, or got like circle adjacent?
Give it to me.
Chris Chi and Philip Moses.
Yeah, they'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Phil was in town recently for his birthday. I didn't get a chance to see him, but they're hard to track down. If you can track them down,
I could track down the husband of Mariel. Would that would that give me a warmth?
I think you can.
I could track down Mariel too, actually, but
You very well can.
I can't believe they're related.
Yep. Neither can I.
Like when I see, like I know you and your sister, right? But if they're like, oh, they're related, I'm like, okay. Like,
It takes a couple times to see them in the same room together to realize.
I'm like, oh my god, your family,
Yeah.
and not like cousins.
Yeah. And you kind of like each other.
Same father,
Yeah.
same mother. Like, I thought they were cousins for a long time,
Yeah.
and then she's like, oh, you know my brother. And I was like, ah, yeah.
Small world. Well, thanks for listening. Wait, we gotta let them know they gotta like and subscribe.
Oh yeah. So if you got this far, thank you so much.
Thank you so much if you got this far.
Yeah, and then Ryan's not here, but Ryan loves comments, so please comment. And if you got this far, please consider sharing, because that will get our numbers up. And that way, Matt and I could be remote, writing travel reports, which is what you actually want to listen to,
Yep. With video.
with video. And I reluctantly have to film my fat face and share it with you all. But with that being said, thank you for listening. Have a good day, and please share, follow, like, PodDogs. And where can we find you?
PodDogs Pack on YouTube.
Instagram?
I think it's also PodDogs Pack.
Gotcha. So
We'll probably add some links to these videos.
so this is for Jordan Marshall and friends like that.
Jordan Marshall. What's up, Jordan?
Jordan Marshall. I'm like, hey, like this was months ago, maybe a year ago. I'm like, hey, I have a podcast. She's like, oh, I heard it. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, did you like it? She's like, yeah, I was listening to Bobby talk. I'm like, Bobby? I'm like, oh, no. Like, Ryan's just a pod whore. So he's on 2 different podcasts. I have a different one. I don't think she heard mine, but I'm like,
Shout out, Jordan.
yeah. Jordan Marshall, hamster.
A lot of call outs on this video.
I know.
Doxing.
Docs.
If you heard your name, leave a comment.
All right. You be good, everybody.